I'll fly a starship across the universe divide, and when I reach the other side,
Welcome, Saber friends and Pixel pals. Isn't it time for another edition of Mundo Monday and Saber Talk? We had a pretty amazing Saber weekend over here, and we will tell you all about it. Let me start the show, and I'll bring in Harris, our first guest over here. Welcome, everybody. This is Saber Talk. There he is. What is going on, Jedi Hash? I do have a little intro for Jedi Hash.
After all, what are we? Merchants, miners, tinkers, toy makers. Hardly the stuff of legend.
Hardly the stuff of legend. Welcome, Jedi Hash. We had a great weekend together building Saber. Well, building one Saber in particular. I don't know if Jedi Hash's mic is working. Maybe he's not trying to say anything at the moment.
It's hot as fuck in this thing. Look, Ann, I got my haircut.
Oh, nice. Check out. Let me show off before we showcase your Saber. Let me show off the belt.
Well, let's not jump into everything. We got all night to fill.
I want to show my belt off because it is really, really sweet. Check out this belt. Harris made it by hand. It's not quite done yet. We have a couple more things to do, but check out this. It's black. It's gonna go with my black sort of, dark Jedi costume that I have going. I have black boots, I have black pants, I have a black tunic, I have a black cape, and now I have a black belt that is handmade. Really, really awesome belt, real leather. It smells good. It's adjustable in case I gain weight or lose weight. So yeah, it's got like a special buckle there. It's got these pins on the side that kind of hold up the inner belt. There's like 2 layers, and it has in the back, it has these snaps that I could adjust, and this is a part that's going to be covered with a piece that we still have to make for this. So thank you, Harris. This is super, super awesome. Super excited to wear this in costume. We're gonna get together and do some kind of show where we're in costume. That'll be a lot of fun.
I made one for me too.
Oh, nice. So you have that, but you don't have the rest of your costume. You said the rest of your costume's in the storage.
Yeah, well, that's in storage. But I made this, a month ago, so this is still here. But on mine, I have the Jedi capsule things, and I don't know if you can see. I got the belt clip hanging on there.
Like for cover tech.
Yeah, the cover tech clip is hanging on
Saber.
Yep.
Awesome.
And I made one for Gabe as well. He's like a reddish brown.
I like the pictures of his. He posted pictures to Instagram.
Yeah.
To his to our Civilized Sabers. Welcome everybody watching. Jim Smith, Great Wazoo. Anyone else here? Black Portrait. MD Faela, Mark, what's going on? Good to see you guys here. Thanks for joining up Saber Talk tonight. Hope you guys are enjoying your custom sabers. Harris, what's that? That's a Mandalorian helmet that you have yet to paint, or you painted it like best color?
I threw a coat of silver on it today, but it still needs like 10 more coats and a lot of polishing and buffing. It's 3D printed.
And what's it going to end up being? Mandalorian or it's like a Boba Fett?
Yeah, Mandalorian. Yeah,
Very
all
cool.
silver.
I like that.
And I haven't. It's got the T shield in it is just for support until I get it all bondoed up. I got to bondo it, and I'm going to add some clear resin to the inside for strength. But I got tired of it looking at it black. It was on my shelf right up there. It was sitting up there usually.
Oh, you've had it for a while, but now you're getting to like actually finishing it, or getting to work on it. That looks cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing that in your collection. I know you have a lot of different stuff in your collection. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's relatively new. I just got that a few months ago. Yeah, actually, I was talking to a guy online, and he's an MB Sabers fan. He recently built one, so we were conversing about that. And then he started showing me that he's a Mando cosplayer. And so from there, we went and he told me about it, that he had an extra bucket that he 3D printed. He does 3D printing. So I'm like, oh, you selling them? He hit me back up. He's like, yeah, I have this one for sale. So it was only $100. I bought it for $100. Beautiful, nice, clean print, but it needs a lot of Bondo. You can still see all the print lines on it. But it was black. I got tired of looking at it black up on my shelf. So I figured I'd throw a coat of paint on it.
Imagine you could hook it up with like electronics that would allow you to see all the scopes and different things like that are light up inside of the actual Mandalorian helmet.
Yeah. If anybody can do it, you and I can.
It'd be almost possible, right? With those like LED screen, the LED screen you attach to your Saber for a few minutes the other day.
LED.
I wonder if maybe it'd have to be almost like a hologram. I don't know. I mean, maybe if it was etched into the glass there, you could like light it. It'd be pretty cool.
Yeah,
from inside.
I have to get the clear T shield, the shield. They use the shield from a welder's helmet that we cut into a T and glue it to the inside of that thing. Doesn't have it's right now where the T shield goes. This is hard plastic. It's just popped in and out. That's part of the original mold, but that's like a placeholder. So, because right now the 3D print is kind of weak here on the cheeks. The cheeks can snap real easy. So this is just holding it all together until I bondo it. I have to bondo the outside, and I'm going to add some clear resin to the inside. And
it looks like you got a bit of foam in there to be comfortable.
Foam in to make it a little more comfortable playing around with it. When I'm actually done it, you can you go to Amazon and you could buy like padding for helmets, like a generic. You put a little Velcro in there, and it's got the circular pad for the top, and then some pads for the cheeks.
It would almost be functional at that point.
Yeah. I don't know what's up with my camera. My camera's getting really dark. How does it look on your end?
Looks a little dark, but good. Looks clear to me. Looks better than my image to me. Looks clearer than my image as far as I could tell. Felicia Marie is here. What's going on, Felicia?
Hi, Felicia.
Hope you're doing well tonight. Where's Felicia's little video I got? Oh, I checked out this video for Felicia.
Looks just like her. That's awesome.
Quinlan Noss is here. What's going on? I love the episode 5 in the background. Just realized that Obi-Wan is in all 6 movies, excluding the Disney sequels. Like, I think if they had R2 in the Disney movies, he would be the one in like all the movies, right? He was even in Rogue One, but they didn't put him in. Like, what was it? Like, he wasn't in Force Awakens, right? He was in Last Jedi a little bit. They uncovered him a bit, right? Was he in The Rise of Skywalker? Maybe a little bit. I don't remember.
How about Chewie? Wasn't Chewie in like almost all of them?
Well, not the first 2 prequels. He was.
No?
He was in episode 3.
The third, where they're in the Wookiee planet. Was it Kashyyyk? Something like that.
Kashyyyk is the way I say it. I don't know.
I don't speak Wookiee.
Yeah, that's true. Obi-Wan is like the main character, I guess. Like, if Anakin wasn't such a crybaby, like Obi-Wan would be the main character. But since Anakin like went bad, then like,
hey, Anakin's my favorite character. Be nice. Don't.
Oh, he absolutely is. No, he's the best.
I love Anakin.
Darth Vader's the best character they got. But I'm just saying, if Darth Vader didn't throw a fit, Obi-Wan would be the main character, right?
Really, aren't they the same guy?
No, I mean, Obi-Wan is Obi-Wan and Darth Vader's Darth Vader. Darth Vader's Anakin.
Yeah, so are Darth Vader and Anakin the same guy?
Yeah, so if Anakin didn't throw a fit, I think Obi-Wan would be the main character. But just because Anakin, had a hissy fit, killed a bunch of people, and turned dark, then that made his story a lot more interesting, I guess.
Yeah. True.
It made Obi-Wan like the straight man in their comedy routine, but...
Well, so Quinlan, we got episode 5 playing in the background because I'm a Graflex fan.
Thin sheet LED matrix could be cool. That's what we need to put inside Harris's Graflex because there's absolutely no room in there. So something thin would work perfectly.
I don't even know what thin sheet LED matrix is.
Me neither. Let's see if Mundo knows what it is.
Here, we pour whiskey.
Straight from Las Vegas.
What up, guys? What up?
No!
Sorry for the least amount of excitement right now. Just got off of work and I am whooped.
Oh, you got a sweet poster behind you.
Yes, thanks to you, buddy. Yeah.
We'll get so let me light up eventually.
Oh, very nice.
Right there. Look at that. Look at that. Woo!
That's
Nice
the
Millennium
Falcon.
Actually, Anthony, you gave me a great idea because I want to put some LEDs around it, man.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good idea. Like people do like around or behind a TV.
Yeah. Uh-huh. So eventually I'm gonna have it
Blowing that
there
up a
like
bit.
that behind me with the LEDs. Soft LEDs, nothing too bright, nothing too out there, but just enough to, keep it exciting.
Mundo, you need to frame that, man. That's sharp looking.
Yeah, well, I've got it on a backing already right now,
It might be better.
and I went
like,
to try to get it framed.
well,
to
if
try
you
to
put
get
a
it.
frame though, it might like glare back. So maybe it's better the way you have it, right? Because like I tried to
Yeah.
photograph like some posters behind me, and all I see is like glare.
Glare.
So, I don't know.
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly. So right now, Space, I want to apologize to you. I went and bought some earbuds to try to get on here, and they are not compromising with the. I don't know if it's StreamYard or what's going on, why they are not working with the program. So, and then the other headphones that I had, they are not working with the program. So until I get a computer, man, I do apologize. So if we get any complaints about back talk and all that stuff.
Are they Bluetooth?
Yeah, they're Bluetooth.
Bluetooth?
Yeah, they are.
Universal, right?
These on bitches right here were $100, man. And
That
I
looks like
figured,
the same set I got a while back, and I like those. If that's like got them off Amazon, those work good for me. But I don't know if I tried it with my phone. I think I was using it with my computer.
I have Apple AirPods, but they don't last. The battery's shot in them. I think I put
yeah, no, these are supposed to go with my phone, and I'm on the phone right now. So for this until I can get that computer up and running, like I said. And excuse me, guys, I'm a little parched here, but
Well, you look
I have to have a
reserve,
mixed
Mundo.
drink. Mundo's making a mixed drink tonight, guys.
What's the drink of the night?
Vodka and
Nice.
Pepsi Zero, man.
Nice.
So
Mundo
check this
mixing it
out.
up on a Monday. Yeah, so
Mundo
apologies to anyone that's hearing any reverberation or any kind of echo. We'll get it sorted as soon as we can. Sometimes that happens when there's like not headphones on everybody. So let's hope that it's bearable.
Yeah, and unfortunately, my phone doesn't have a jack where I can jack into some earbud, some wired earbuds and stuff. And unfortunately, Samsung went that direction. So, it happens. I tell you, man, I get hurdle after hurdle after hurdle. And
Are we better with earbuds, Ann? Should I pop earbuds?
Yeah, you're always supposed to, like, when you're podcasting, you got to put in the headphones if possible, because otherwise the people on the other end.
All right, hold on. Let me try
will
these.
hear problems. Jim Smith says R2D2 is in all the movies, and so is C-3PO. See, I don't remember R2 from Force Awakens, though. Was he? I guess he was.
Yes, he was.
Jim says he was there.
A little bit in the beginning. He was right in the beginning.
Chad Giacomosi says R2 was in The Force Awakens. Okay,
Yep.
I can't recall. I thought maybe he was like under a blanket. I don't remember them showing R2. Oh, he says, yep, at the very end.
Yeah. So my wire strippers are not stripping the wire anymore either. So I'm chunking these bastards, and I'm getting 2 more pair tomorrow.
Did that get rid of the noise, Ann? I put the headphones on.
I think it was okay when you were on, but yeah, like definitely try headphones if you have them. But I think if there's I hear something going on, I think it's since Mundo came in, because he listens on his speakers. So if like my voice is coming out his speakers and maybe coming back into his microphone, maybe is causing what I'm kind of hearing. I'm not sure. Let's see. Jim says I could email him to find out what those or what those matrix things are.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Quinlan Nas says, I just saw the very sick video of the dual crystal chamber video for the Graflex on Civilized Sabers. Reminds me of a more civilized age where Jedi had 2 crystals from Ilum. Yeah.
Dual crystals.
Yeah, for sure.
Dude, that is sick with the dual crystals, man. That is sick.
Well, hey, you have dual crystals in your Michael Murphy Yoda saber, right?
Yep.
Very nice.
You know, what we can maybe try, Mundo, is like if you mute when you're not speaking, if you could remember to unmute when you want to speak, that might correct it.
You know what? Let's go ahead and try that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna mute for a good while, and then, like you said,
Like whenever you want to say something, just unmute, and I think that might fix it.
Okay,
hopefully.
let's try that.
Yeah, so Harris will bring out this saber and show us. I'll put it like full screen when he's gonna show. Hopefully you guys can see a little more of it tonight. I got the chance to check out Harris's graphics build in person this past Wednesday. The thing weighs a ton, but holy smack, is it an epic build? Yeah, I was wielding both of these sabers at once, and they're both Graflexes, and his was far heavier, but he has like every part in there is like brass and silver, like real metal, heavy metals.
The Great Wazoo is my buddy Ron. What's up, Ron?
What's going on, Ron?
Yo.
Harris reminded me
What's up, Ron?
who you were, and we met at the Philly, or no, was it Harris? Was it Philadelphia or was it Edison?
No, that was Edmonton. Edison.
I met Ron and his son, I think,
yeah,
a couple years back, 2019.
Yes, you did.
Felicia says, "Oh, that's awesome." Yeah, it is a really, really cool saber that he made. Harris bought all these parts on Shapeways from Martin Bear Design. I guess he designs it, and then you order from Shapeways all the different parts. Harris put all that together, and then this weekend we gave it electronics, the Plector Labs CF10. That was one thing I didn't really get to talk to Harris too much about over the weekend. I figured I'd bring it up tonight, which is how incredible the Plector Labs CF10 is, because what Harris wanted to do with this lightsaber, and I think Mundo would get a kick. Oh, I think Mundo's got a CF10 in that box, but Mundo would get a kick out of like where you can go with lightsabering, because Mundo's about to do like his first build, and this is like probably even like Harris was saying this weekend, maybe one of his final builds, because he's he's building this epic saber, and there's really not much you can do to top it, especially when you're building it out of basically silver parts and stuff like that. But to take something like that, and what we did this weekend was put the Crystal Focus 10 in there, and without too much effort, right, Harris? We had the crystal chamber thing spinning, we had neopixels lighting up, we had accent LEDs lighting, all these different things like happened in the core, which slides inside the Graflex. So a lot of that stuff you actually like don't see when you're playing with the put together lightsaber, but this is all like reveal stuff. So when you undo the custom saber and you see what's inside, that could be on a shelf, or that could be in your hand, and you could still actually play with the lightsaber. Harris installed a set screw that allows him to play with the core without having it inside the Graflex, so he could have a blade in, play with it, and actually the blade's not going to fall out of the core, but you won't want to do anything to hurt the saber in that mode.
Well, I mean, this saber is definitely a shelf queen.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something I would ever duel with. It is, I don't even know if I would hand it to anybody other than maybe you, Ant, and the guys that I met up with last week.
My God, I about did backflips when I saw that thing.
Yeah.
When it was spinning and all that, I'm all like, you know what? It might be a trip worth to the hospital from my back after seeing that damn thing.
Well, I mean, we're talking about it, Ant. Should I pull it out and demo it right now?
Go ahead. Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Quinlan Nas says, it makes me wonder, with the KOTOR remake, are they going to bring back the OG Crystal lore? Yeah, I mean, if they did a little more with the workbench and with the making of the lightsaber like they did in Jedi Fallen Order, that's definitely going in the right direction, don't you guys think? So actually, I'm going to put the video on Harris's. Actually, let me see if I can do it this way, where we're still here, and put Harris over here. Okay, great. This is Harris's. Is this your vintage Graflex shell? I know you have a couple shells, right?
Well, let's play a game. I played with you this week.
Well, I lost the game. I wasn't correct.
So, yes, I have a vintage, and I have a TGS, the Graflex Shop replica Gen 2. I purposely bought the vintage. I bought 20 some years ago. The Gen 2 I bought because my vintage is beautiful and I don't ever want to take it out of the house. But even though this is a shelf queen, you know, I want to be able to enjoy it. If I'm getting together with Anthony or some guys, we had a little Saber meetup last week. There were 6 or 7 people, and I'm going to call those guys out in a few minutes. Hopefully some of them are watching. But I bought the replica because I don't want to take the vintage out of the house. The replica was $200 from the Graflex Shop. And I mean, if, you know, I mean, we talked about it a few times. Somebody grabs at a lightsaber, they don't know what they're doing. I showed this to somebody a week ago, and I'm like, it comes apart. And what do? You know, they start wrenching on it. So I'm never going to take my vintage out of the house. But let's play a game. You tell me, vintage or replica, before I even ignite it. What say you? Post on the comments.
Let's see if Jim Smith knows the answer.
Jim, vintage, replica. Let's show the bottom. My camera's a little dark. All right, let's fire it up. So we're already booted up. Here we go. Red button is ignition.
Replica.
It went into sleep mode. I just woke it up. I'm going to back up a little bit. And this is a Civilized Sabers dual star, 7/8 blade in this. And it's about 30 inches long. It's not full length. I actually was listening to you and Mundo from about a week ago, Ant, and you were mentioning that I like a shorter blade because, I mean, I broke, in my old house, I broke 2 ceiling fans spinning a lightsaber. So I like a little bit shorter blade. And I'm short. What's that?
That's why I use the 28, because I'm short, so I need a short blade myself.
Yeah. So let's do some demo. This is CFX10. Version 3. I just got this board about a week and a half ago. I ordered them. They went on sale at TCSS. I ordered a few of them. And let's get to the goods. What do you say?
Definitely.
So to remove the blade on this, glass eye is the retention. So we're going to, and this is a little tight.
Mark Fiala says, I was lucky enough to get in on Starfall semi-custom mystery saber on May the 4th. Really excited for that one. Wow. I love Starfall sabers, and
I have
that
a
is going to
Starfall
be
here. I'll show you guys later.
That is going to be epic. I think you have a Starfire.
Starfire.
We keep getting confused with those two. Jim Smith says, did you guys solve the motor running even when not activated? Yeah, Harris, why don't you explain
So we'll
that,
talk about that
scenario at some point, because that was interesting how that was solved. That was kind of a surprise to me. I love this glass eye.
Glass eye comes out, and glass eye is an extended, I don't know if you can see it in the video. It's an extended glass piece.
It's like got more acrylic on there.
Yeah, that it goes through to the front, and that is what holds the blade in, and it also holds the chassis into the upper half. So with that glass eye removed, the blade removes. Now, try not to damage stuff. Now we can crack the Graflex in half. And now for the real reveal.
So there, the crystal is not, the crystal motor is not turning until he turns it on at this point, because we
Correct.
figured out in there which
What a
settings
beauty.
that was.
So right here is main power switch. So the way we have this set up, this single LED, the red LED in the bottom of the Saber, is connected to our deep sleep setting. So when you apply power by turning it on, that's like a battery connected light that tells you you have power. When you turn the power off, everything powers down and that light goes out. So anytime you apply power, that light goes on. And when it goes into deep sleep, that light will go off and will turn back on when you hit one of the activation buttons, and it will turn that light back on as well. Now, let's get a look at this here. So right there is the center. There's a real quartz crystal in there. I am not done this yet. There's a lot of piping work that goes inside here, and that's kind of like the icing on the cake. We did not do that yet. I don't want to put the icing on the cake until the cake is completed, and we're still going to do some work to it. But also up here, this is what Martin Bear calls the plasma gate. And I don't know if you could see it because, again, my camera's dark, but there is a crystal in there as well. So we have a crystal in the crystal chamber, and we have a crystal encased in an acrylic tube in the plasma gate. The back button here, when inside the Graflex, is what gets pressed by the red button. So that turns it on. And I don't know if you can see it, but that bad boy's spinning like a monster.
It's working! It's working!
Yes, it is working.
Absolutely gorgeous. Oh my God.
We have a Shatak V3 neopixel adapter in there. And we have a neopixel flower on top of the spinning plasma gate. And something that I just learned about, thanks to my new buddy, Will Ayling from Davidium Customs, who was absolutely instrumental in me building this. I couldn't have done it without him, and I couldn't have done it without Anthony SpaceWindu. Thank you, guys. I owe you guys huge. So what the plasma gate does, basically, when you turn it off, that stops spinning. When you turn it on, it spins. Now, I'm still messing with some of the config files, but there is a way so that if you do lockup, that it will vary the speed of the motor. We haven't gotten into that yet. But basically, we got the spinning plasma gate working, which was a huge accomplishment, right, Ed?
Definitely. This is such a crazy Graflex. Let's bring in another Graflex expert.
Which on your Star Wars lightsabers? Where's your lightning? Go! I got it! Me too! Zap, zap, zap!
JediArmsDealer, what is going on tonight?
What up,
working! It's working!
Yeah, it definitely is working.
The greatest feeling in the world. Ed, you handed it to me, and you're like, turn it on. And I'm like, oh, how bad were my hands shaking, Ed? I was like...
You actually had to put it down for a minute and like regain your composure because you got super excited.
I lost it.
You know, you never know when you pick up and start one of these projects. Is it going to take, 5 or 6 hours, or is it going to take until the next month because you have to order another part or something? You just don't know what's going to happen.
A year.
So, yeah, exactly.
What's up, Dave? How are you, buddy?
How you guys doing? Good to see you.
You too, bro. You too.
I'm chilling in chilly San Diego right now. It's nice outside.
It's nice over there. Like, it is so cold here, yet it's been May for like 9 or 10 days, but it's still pretty cold over here in Jersey.
Awesome.
Yeah,
It's hotter than
So
Hades'
is it.
ass out here in Texas.
I have my door open.
That's funny. Don't F with Texas. That's great. Harris, I had a quick question for you on the spinning gate.
Yeah.
Does that get programmed on the fourth pad? Is that how you guys make that happen?
Yes, correct. So something that Anthony and I both learned this weekend, when we have been doing all our CFX setups, we use a jumper, and the jumper goes from the, if you have to know a CFX,
Goes
Dave,
for like 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4.
Yeah,
Is that
there's-
how you wire
there's 4
yours,
channels.
JediArmsDealer?
Yeah.
You wire your NeoPixel like channels 1 and 2 together, 3 and 4 together, kind of like the manual says, and then you can link those up as well.
Correct. Yeah.
To
I'll
gain
just
gain like the power of all 4 FETs.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, what we did
Join it
initially,
into one.
what Ant did initially, Dave, he hooked all 4 at 2 and 2. So the problem was, once we turned the Saber on, channel 4 was constantly getting power from channel 3 as well.
By
So it
default.
was always on. It was always on.
I remember that.
Yeah. So that kicked us in the butt for a little bit. And then that was around 11 o'clock at night. And then I started hitting up Will Ailing from Davidium Customs, who was very gracious. I'm like, dude, are you busy? I'm texting him. He's like, well, I'm with my girl. What's up? I go, dude, I go, I'm kind of stuck. And he spent a good probably 40 minutes.
Yeah, Harris wanted a video call. The guy was in bed.
Yeah.
He wanted a video call with this like
about some
Graflex
of this
emergency.
Hopefully he wasn't naked.
And we're gonna have Will on. I'm trying to get him on for Saber Talk, so he can join in all this fun that we have here. But I'm gonna get him on, and he was so gracious that he was able to help us. We wouldn't have got it working without him. And then on top of that, he was kind of giving us a lesson on setting up the config for the separate channels as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I got a new camera tonight, so it's like playing tricks on me.
I think it's like focusing on the Cylon in the background.
Yeah.
What it is.
Yeah, the Cylons are taking over.
Let me see what happens if I stand up. All right. Come on now.
Where's your pants?
Yeah. I don't wear any for Saber Talk. Why?
Great Wazoo says, what amazes me most about Harris's build is despite the complexity and intricacy of its core, it can be dueled with because of how solid he's got everything together in it.
Well, Ron, I'm gonna say, Ron, thank you very much. It's a great compliment, but I can't take the credit for that. That is all Martin Bear, the genius of Martin Bear, and the way that he makes this thing. The only glue, and I mean, to us Saber aficionados, we use glue in a lightsaber, a little bit, but the only glue that's actually in this lightsaber is holding the crystal in place. Every other piece of this lightsaber is either screwed on, bolted on, or just so intricately detailed that the pieces fit together like puzzle pieces and will never come apart unless you want them to come apart. And that is the genius of Martin Bear. Truly an amazing genius. I mean, I can't say more anything else about him. The guy's amazing, what he has done, what he has created.
Ron says, I mean, I wouldn't want to duel with it because it would be like wielding a handmade clock made out of dwarf star material, still fight capable shelf queen.
Yeah.
Freaking epic.
Yeah.
And Jim guesses vintage, by the way, as far as your shell.
Yeah, this thing is like, Jim Smith said vintage. All right, we're not going to answer yet what it is.
Well, I want JediArmsDealer to guess because he's the other one in the room that I think would know, but I couldn't tell, and I had it in my hand, so
I'm going to put it all.
But I don't claim to be an expert with the Graflexes. I don't know that much about them.
I'm going to put it all back together.
Let's see who guesses this one.
All I need to see is the emitter.
Replica.
Can I see the emitter? Is that cheating?
Let me make his screen a little bigger so you get the same effect.
It's hard to see the emitter because that is the Martin Bear emitter top in it.
Looking at the button, looking at the button.
I think that's going to be the B.
I think it's a vintage because the buttons look a little weathered up. Unless you weathered
Say
them up
again?
real good on a replica.
I didn't hear you.
Unless you weathered them up real good on a replica, it looks like a vintage to me.
Got him. My camera's not great either.
I want to go with a vintage.
Okay. Your vote is casted. Let's get a few more people. See if they can. Then I'll tell everybody.
Do we win the Martin Bear chassis if we're right?
Maybe a discarded part that Harris won't be using.
I'm
Harris
going
had
with
some discarded parts like made of gold.
No
We
offense,
should melt
Dave,
them down and make like a ring of power.
I think I want to be buried with this thing.
But you got two of them now, so.
Harris, I
No,
don't
I
blame you.
sold the other one. I
Oh,
sold
okay.
the first one.
Can you
Oh,
guys
nice.
use lightsabers, like the pallbearers? Use lightsabers as the handles,
Yeah,
and you guys can all be pallbearer, whatever, however you say it.
all barrel.
That's a great idea.
Yeah, Dave, I sold the first one. I don't have the first one anymore.
When did you sell it? Like a week? Within the 2 weeks?
February.
Oh shit!
then-
Why did I think you had the other one still?
I'll be honest with you. I sold it, and the guy was gracious. Jamie Maddox bought it, and he has it up for sale right now. He's selling it. He wants $5,000 for it in a vintage.
Jeez.
But I sold it, and I didn't have the money in my PayPal account for 24 hours before I ordered all the new parts for the new one that I built. But the whole point, I wanted to upgrade. The first one was made out of aluminum and steel. This one is all brass and silver. So I wanted to go more bling bling, a little more high end.
Wow.
It's gorgeous, man.
Yeah.
Well done.
I love it. I love it.
You definitely probably have one of the most badass ones on the planet based on all the silver that's in there.
Yeah, and I'm actually something cool. So this front hatch is brass. As soon as we get off tonight online, as soon as we get off Saber Talk, I'm going into Shapeways, and Ant and I hooked it up with a OLED screen. And the only problem is I didn't have the right door.
Right.
So I'm ordering. This is brass. This brass door cost $150 for just the door, just the hatch, and that's only half. The back hatch is another $150. But I'm going to order the new one in silver. And to the hatch for the front of this with the cutout for the OLED screen in silver is $380 just for the hatch. It's made out of going to be real silver. So when it's all done, this Saber is worth about $7,000 when it's all done.
Damn, you got a house mortgage right there in Sabers.
Well,
What he did was he took out the engine to his car, sold the engine, and cut a foot pedal cut out at the bottom that he could just get to work that way.
I've been cutting my wrist and selling blood to the hemoglobin shop to get money to buy this. So something funny, like Ant, when we got it working and got it into the housing and everything the other night at Ant's house, he had his Yoda chassis in one hand, and he had the Martin Bear in the other hand. And he looks at me, and they're both fired up. And he looks at me, and he says to me, "Oh my God, I'm holding $10,000 in 2 lightsabers in my hands right now."
Yeah, no doubt.
Damn.
Yeah, two of the world's top 2 tiers right there. One in the left and one on the right. That's crazy.
Crazy.
That's so cool.
And I'm going to let you read that comment.
Quinlan Na says, now I got to ask, how much would something like that cost for you guys at Civilized Sabers to make in a limited run?
So I can answer that. There are variables when you're building a Martin Bear chassis. You can build it out of plastic, some of the parts.
Well, first, though, you have to say, Harris, before you get into how much it costs, you have to say that you actually cannot do what he's asking, which is
Shapeways.
Like you can't, as far as what you told me, Harris, is like you can't
Martin does
build
not
Martin Bear sabers and sell them.
He'll sell to you but he doesn't like to sell to you to resell. If you follow what I'm getting at, you know, he's got notes all over his website that his parts are not for resale, you know. So it'd be tough to do. But it's an interesting question, and I'd like to answer it because I want to give people an idea of what's involved in this. So there are ways to order plastic parts, which, you know, if you're doing something like this, you do it right. So it's called the Metal Master for a reason. Why put plastic parts in a Metal Master? So the first one that I built in just parts from Martin Bear's personal shop, because this emitter top he sells direct on his website. The emitter top does not come from Shapeways, but the greeblies all over it do come from Shapeways. So you can order it in brass, you can order it in aluminum, or you can order it in black powder coated aluminum is what he sells right now, 3 versions. The brass on this is about, I think it's about $110. That's just for the emitter. And that doesn't include all the greeblies that go on the outside. Long story short, if you were to build one out of a base metal, aluminum, steel, mixing the parts, to build it yourself, and this does not include electronics. This is just for, you know, the Saber chassis, and this does not include the Graflex to put it in. And that depends whether you're putting it in a vintage or if you're going to put it into a replica. So steel and aluminum, you're looking at approximately $2,000. You can go a little cheaper. Steel is a little cheaper. $1,500 to $2,000 to order just the parts, and that would include that $100 emitter head from Martin Bear Direct. And parts on this particular build, because I went high end, I'll give you an idea. So the plastic door, just that little door, the plastic door is $30. The steel door is like $70. The metal door, the steel door is about $70. The brass door is about $150, and the silver door is close to $400. I'm rounding it off. So all these things are variable of the price. So, you know, to build it yourself for just the chassis with electronics, this is about $3,500 to $4,000 right here.
It's a little painful that you're in the 4 digits.
You think?
Yeah. Ouch.
Yeah.
So that there's tuition
Look,
for a school.
This thing's about to take off.
So, you know, that all being
Right,
said,
Mundo?
keep in mind,
That thing's about to blow up or something.
Oh, I'm telling you, man. But you know, I think the blow would be like freaking amazing, out of this world, man. It'd explode and have like all these baby
Gold
sabers
confetti
coming out of it, man. All these baby sabers going all over the place.
so, you
Lightning.
know, I'm going to be honest.
There'd be
I'm going to be
lightning.
real with you guys. You know, I recently went through a divorce. It was a very tough time in my life. You know, one of my good friends years ago got divorced, and he went out and bought himself a Corvette, you know, and that was his divorce car. So this is my divorce lightsaber. This is something, after going through a very hard divorce, that I wanted to do for myself. And I took, you know, I would never recommend building a Martin Bear for your first lightsaber, you know. I mean, there are people that do it, and if God bless them if they undertake it. You know, between Ant and I combined our skill, you know, Dave, how long you been building lightsabers, Dave?
10-ish. Well,
Since
I mean,
before
right?
Mundo was born.
Customs over 10 years.
You know, so Ant,
So that's way
how
before
long
Mundo
you
was
been
born.
working on lightsaber? I just watched one of your videos the other night. I think it was from like 2010, Ant. You were already building lightsabers in 2010, and that was 12 years ago, you know? So, I mean, I bought this Graflex 20 years ago. That was one of the first purchases I bought when I discovered eBay 20 plus years ago, you know? So,
Um,
Oh, you just gave it away.
no, I don't recommend. I don't recommend a Martin Bear as your first saber. I wanted to do something for myself that I could be proud of. I built the first one. I loved it. I saw an opportunity to sell it. I did not make any money on it. I basically sold it for what I had invested in it. And I took that money that I made back on what I had invested, and I decided to build a top of the line. You know, imagine you build a Corvette, and then, you know, you say, all right, I'm going to sell that Corvette and I'm going to build a better Corvette. That's basically what I did, you know. You know, may I jump in here? Let me just say that, you know, Harris, it is a passion and a love for the things that we do. Am I not correct?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, everybody, right? We love doing this.
Absolutely.
And, you know, when you love something so much as what we do, you kind of take it as, and it's art. It's art in itself. Yes, it's a little bit of work, but this work is a labor of love and the passion that people have for this hobby. And it will never seem like work. At times it may, but at most, and if I'm wrong, let me know. But when you guys are in the zone, wiring things, making things go, and then get to that sweet spot, like, yes, I get it, I got it, I hit it, it's working.
Chills.
You know, the emotion of it happening is exponential. I mean, you can't put a price on that. You cannot put a price on that.
Nope.
And you also have to do what makes you happy and what you can express through this passion, through this art, through this hobby. It is an expression and an extension of who we are. If I'm wrong, let me know.
No, you're 100% right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I could not have come into a better hobby. You know, when I started certain things, I wanted to fly airplanes and radio control cars, and I got into stuff like that. But they didn't give me the satisfaction that I have with the lightsaber stuff, as well as the camaraderie with you guys.
I did it myself, Mundo. I'm going back 20 years ago. I built maybe half a dozen RC cars, and I got good at it. I built a few for some friends as well. Guys would buy them, but didn't have the technical skill to put it together. Now, so lightsaber skills, it's a lot. I mean, I have many different backgrounds that come together, and I'm sure you guys do as well. You know, I was a model builder as a kid. You know, loved building.
I was a model. We have something in common.
Nice. I could see that. You know?
Windy centerfold.
So, you know,
Oh,
I also, my first job, I was 20 years old. I built parking meters for the city of Philadelphia. So when I first started doing that, they sent me to school to build clocks. I learned how to be a watchmaker. So I learned how to take little tiny parts and manipulate them and make them work. And that's a skill. RC cars, that's a skill that goes into this.
So are you going to use your jewelry skills? Because you also were a jeweler, weren't you? Or you were something like that?
So,
and are you going to use your jewelry skills to add diamonds? Because you guys, like, he's not finished with that. He wants to put
glad
diamonds.
you said that, Ant, because I'll be honest with you. I wasn't going to say anything, but you brought it up. So yes, I ran a pawn shop, and I used to buy and sell diamonds, jewelry, gold. In fact, my ex kept her wedding ring, which I designed with the jewelry shop owner. And I bought the stone, and I went to the jewelry shop owner, and we designed the wedding ring that stone went into. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted a silver and gold lightsaber, because it lends to the jewelry. but I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna
Trying to
fill
get
you
the
in on a little
focus.
secret.
I don't know what's going on.
There's a section of this saber. You see right here, Ant? So
Oh, cool.
right there, that is silver, okay? And those two little holes, I just filled them in with a little bit of black paint. And then driving home from your house yesterday, Anthony, it popped in my head. I am going to buy, they are about 2 millimeter in size each. I'm going to buy 2 diamonds, and I'm going to embed 2 diamonds right in those holes right there into the silver on this lightsaber. So this lightsaber is going to be diamond encrusted
Sure.
when it's all done. Yeah. Yep.
Nice.
Yeah. What's going to be a surprise? I was going to surprise you, but you know me. And you know me better than anybody. You're a best friend and a brother. You hit the nail on the head. Yes, I'm going to put diamonds in this lightsaber.
Titan Gray says, "Good evening, gentlemen. Great job, Harris. It looks magnificent."
Thank you, bro. Thank you.
Jim Smith says, "It looks like a
Titan,
vintage
Felicia,
reflex."
Jim, hello everybody. I'm sorry I haven't mentioned everybody who came on, and I do apologize. Rich, also, hello. How you guys doing? I'm just trying to get everybody's talking and everything like that, but we're trying a little something different until I can get some earbuds or a computer working with the phone and stuff. So,
I'm reading Jim's comment. That's good, Jim. Good guess, but I didn't. One is all vintage. One is all replica.
Rich Sangilla says, "Shapeways is so expensive. What do you guys, or what do you think the markup is?"
Huge, huge.
It's got to be at least 300%.
Huge
I think on the metal stuff, the markup's pretty insane, but the plastic isn't horrible. But those laser sintering machines that they have there at Shapeways are not cheap. I think they're minimum 50 grand each. That bust out, your parts that you have, Harris, for your Martin Bear. That's expensive technology right there.
Yeah, but I mean, you're paying for silver,
Yeah.
We're talking Lone Ranger silver bullets. You know what I mean? Kill a
Take
werewolf.
out some werewolves.
Silver,
That's so amazing that they offer. Like, what are other options? If they offer silver, is that the highest metal option you saw? Or there was some.
I believe they do print now in gold as well.
Wow.
But the builder has the option of picking what metals or plastics their items are being sold in. So I believe that gold is probably too soft of a metal to build anything like this out of.
Oh.
So silver is the top pinnacle.
Because our friend Steven McLaren, remember, he sent us the gold parts that were from Shapeways, but I guess that was for like a Goth 3D chassis or something.
Correct.
So
That
maybe
was for Goth.
that's
so Goth picked the option
optional.
to have their parts sold in gold, where Martin didn't. None of his parts.
Gotcha.
And if he did sell some of the parts in gold, I would have went gold.
Is there platinum or titanium available?
There is, but not under Martin Bear stuff. There is an option for, I think there's an option for platinum in Shapeways, but not under Martin Bear stuff.
I wonder if the creator gets to choose the metals they offer it in, or does Shapeways do that? I was going to say Harris.
I think from what Harris was telling me over the weekend, it seemed to be like Martin Bear's choice, because I said, Harris, all those parts that you got in silver, are they available in plastic? He said, and like he could tell you right now, he said not anymore, but there was a time, I guess, where they were available in plastic.
Yeah.
So I have a plastic chassis, actually. I picked up for dirt cheap.
This bottom section right here has an inner chassis. There's a chassis that holds the battery on one side and the board on the other. And initially, on the first Saber that I tried to build, I ordered a plastic section of that. In fact, Ant, that's now in one of the Graflexes that you and I were working on.
Is it in Armando's?
I don't. No.
That's not it.
No. It's the one that had it has the black plastic on the bottom.
Oh, it's in that other Graflex, right?
Yeah, it has the crystal chamber in the middle. So what I did is I ordered the black plastic, And then I said to myself, you know what? I said, I'm building a Metal Master chassis. So I ordered it in brass. And that piece from Martin Bear, the brass center core, is $400 just for the center core. And that doesn't include the outer doors or the greeblies that go on top of it. You know?
Rich Sangilla says, I was going to say, Harris, that is a divorce reward. If I ever saw one, been there too. Glad you made it out the other side.
Yeah, I mean, listen,
Amen.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much for saying that. I wish the divorce didn't happen. It wasn't my choice. It was hers. You know, I miss being married. I like being married. I like my kids under my own roof. My kids now live with her, and I see my son every other weekend. My daughter's now 22, so she wants nothing to do with it. But, you know, I see them when I can. But, you know, I just felt like I deserved something, you know, to put a smile on my face, you know. And now instead of sleeping with a warm body, I sleep with Martin Bear, brass and silver.
Absolutely.
This is on the pillow right next to my head every night.
There you go.
Quinlan Nas says, if I pay over $4,000 for a Saber, my great-great-grandson better not sell it.
Yeah, it's an heirloom piece. It'll be passed down to my child. Or if my child doesn't want it, it'll probably go to you, Anthony.
Why would he not want it, right?
Heck yeah.
So is it original, Harris? Because Jim says, I knew she was original. That's a vintage, right? That Saber you held up?
All right, so you want to answer?
Official answer.
This is a Flex Shop replica.
Oh,
This is
well
not
done.
a vintage at all. Now, hold on.
It looked to me like from the buttons, you must have like used some sandpaper or green.
Yeah, because JediArmsDealer, I actually looked at it on the inside, and that's when because I had it in my hand, and he said, "What is it?" I looked on the inside; it looked vintage to me, so I said, "You know, vintage," and then he said, "No."
Well done, man.
This is the vintage. Can you guys hear me?
Wow.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
So this is the vintage. This is the replica. They are
well done,
very,
man.
very. There are tells that you would really need to be in person for. And the one way that I can tell, my vintage, 20 years ago, I put the chrome tape on it. So my vintage has the chrome tape to it.
There you go.
This is the replica. The replica does not have the chrome tape on it.
So if you bought a replica from the Graflex shop today, Harris, you would get a similar model to the one that just kind of fooled everyone?
Exactly. This is it. I just bought this. So, I mean, we're talking about divorce. So in the divorce, my ex stole a lot of stuff from me, and she stole my vintage. And I said to the judge in court, I said, I want my lightsabers back that she stole. So
I can't believe lightsabers were mentioned in court.
Yeah, it's in the divorce decree. So the judge sided with me and said I have to get my lightsabers back. So what I did when I initially built that first Martin Bear a year and a half ago, I didn't have a Graflex to put it in because at that time the Graflex was still with her. So I bought the replica to put the original one in. In the interim, as I was building the Martin Bear, I won that part of the divorce. So my vintage came back to me. So I actually was able to put that Martin Bear into my vintage.
And didn't the one that came back to you, the vintage, had like a Ford tire track on it?
No.
No.
Yeah.
So where's the replica from?
Wait, you ready for that? And to answer your question? Well, I don't know if I should talk about this. You know what? Let's put the kibosh on the divorce call. So, Mundo, to answer your question, the replica came from the Graflex shop.
Well, now I want to know. I'm just kidding.
I'll tell you guys in private. I don't know if I should be talking online. I could probably get in some trouble because I don't know if I'm supposed to be talking about this.
Perhaps.
In public, you know?
Yeah, because like that judge watches Saber Talk.
So something really
Just
cool.
send him a lightsaber.
Is as easy as it is to insert a Martin Bear in one of these lightsabers, this Martin Bear lightsaber chassis will fit inside my replica or my vintage. And they go in. They go in very easily. Watch how easy it goes in. Remove the glass eye. Separate it. Insert the chassis. Put the glass eye back in.
Bam.
It's now one with the top half of the chassis. Close it up. And now,
Very cool.
What do you have? I mean, I know since I asked you yesterday, but tell everybody what you have in the way of sound venting, if anything.
okay, so the replica, and a little bit screwy. So initially, when I had my vintage, I think I told the story a few weeks ago, how I drilled the holes in my bottom vintage, and I was sad when I did it. And you swapped me with the vintage for vintage, but mine had holes in it, and you cut the bottom out for the Exoflex.
Right.
So I decided never again to drill into a real vintage Graflex. So this vintage Graflex has the D-ring on it, but it is just using E6000 to hold it on. And these rivets are just fake rivet heads that I cut off and glued in place.
Nice.
And it's pretty durable. It'll support, you know.
Oh,
And
that would be frightful
Yeah,
to
I
walk
would
around.
never. I mean, I would never put it on my belt and hang it from my
Yeah.
belt with the D-ring. But this has no holes for sound venting, so it's not real loud when the chassis is inside this. Now, this technically, while I had the old vintage, I bought a Romans props lower to put on the vintage so that I could hang it from a belt if I wanted to.
Yep.
So this is actually a Graflex shop upper with a Romans props lower. And I
Okay.
have the original Graflex shop lower put away in the box for this. So I could even take this bottom off and make this look like a real, genuine, original vintage Graflex if I wanted to, without all the grips and everything on it.
Oh, right.
Is that,
the grips.
is that a blank stamp clamp? We'll say that 10 times.
All my clamps are stamped. I don't know if you can say it.
No, I meant the clamp, that has the bubble strip in it. That part. Does that have the graph? Are you guys hearing me okay? Because this is a new camera.
Yeah, I think so.
My bubble
Yeah,
clamp,
I can hear you.
my bubble strips are all Wanawanga.
No, I meant is the actual word Graflex stamped around a circle on the clamp by the
Yeah.
bubble
Yeah.
on both of them?
Yes.
Okay, because I was going to say that would have been my tell if that was blank, but now I see
I
it.
can't
Okay,
see it.
okay.
Correct. Yeah, I don't know if you can say it. Yeah, it is
Just
stamped
barely.
Graflex on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
I see
Now
it now.
I only have the replica clamp, and I have the vintage clamp. The vintage clamp has the tape over it,
Right.
but the
Yep.
replica clamp does say Graflex. I don't know if you can see it on my camera.
I can now.
You see
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I can
Yep.
kind of see now.
Trying to see it there. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
well
like
done,
the
man.
preview that that we get being in StreamYard actually hopefully isn't the final resolution, because it is quite poor, at least on my end. Like the resolution I'm seeing you guys on isn't that great. Felicia says, just got some old model airplanes and submarines this weekend to start on with my kids.
Nice.
That is super awesome, Felicia. That is a lot of fun. I
That is
was
awesome,
real
Felicia.
into like little cars, and especially cars like something like my dad had. I was always trying to buy a little model kit. Like my dad had a Thunderbird, so I was trying to, like, as a kid, trying to find like a model Thunderbird to build it.
Very cool.
I had fun with those. Great Wazoo. Ron says, I hear what you are saying about building hilts being such a passion. I've only recently started doing builds less than a year ago, and I have 3 or 4 Project Sabers going on right now. Yeah, isn't that funny?
And I think that's my fault. I think I talk to Ron a lot. We text a lot, and I think that's my fault that he's got 3 or 4 projects going right now.
I've got a lot of Project Sabers in a few drawers over here as well. Like some, designs I've started and stopped and kind of need to go back to.
Oh my God.
Jim Smith says anything metal or carbon fiber is expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I'll tell you, man. I've always been, the type of person that would start a bunch of things and never finish things, or like later on down the years, just barely finishing them. But when I came across lightsabers, after my friend passed, uh, I felt that, his spirit's in me because he was always getting into things, doing things, right? He'd go from one thing to another, accomplish it, get another, accomplish it. And I said to myself, you know what? With sabers, that's gonna be me. I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna do it. And I couldn't have fallen into a better group of guys to help me do this, you know. And of course, the people that we talk to, the things that we see, the amazing builds that everybody else does, the amazing fonts that we hear coming out from other people, it's so mind blowing sometimes. You hear that one font that you're like, oh, damn, and then you're like, okay, now I gotta put it in this saber, and then I'm gonna save this font for that other saber, and we're gonna see some fireworks going down.
Definitely, Mundo. Definitely. Well said.
Agreed.
Well
Literally
said.
lit
Chet
up
Osborne
fireworks.
is here. What's going on, buddy? He says, hey guys, happy Monday. Happy Mundo Monday to you as well.
What up, Chet?
Jim Smith says you would be amazed by what gets said in court. Quite amazed.
I believe it.
Hey, Dave, what's on your bench, Dave?
I all week, well, for the last 2 weeks, have been diving into Jeff from Singapore. Space knows him. I've been diving into his LS6, and we're doing some freaky stuff on it. It's going to have a fully removable copper chassis that's all engraved out and stuff on the micro mill. And then I've come up with a magnetic system, little tiny ring magnets that I'm attaching to I'm thinking up to 7 different color crystals, and you'll be able to reach in and grab the crystals out and change out the colors. So it'll be multiple colored crystals you can swap out.
Nice.
They'll rotate on top of that.
Nice.
And so I've been learning sub blades and all kinds of crazy stuff, which has been just pure research and experimentation with the Profi nonstop. I now just yesterday figured out sub blades, and it's amazing. You can take any accent pixel strip and then a separate just 2 pixels for a crystal chamber strip and run them all on the same channel.
Wow.
So you only use one data pad, and you can control the crystal chamber with 2 pixels, 2 pairs of 5 pixel accent strips, and then the entire blade all on one data channel.
Really?
It's crazy. All
the negatives are connected to different pads then to send that signal that way?
The negatives and the positives are all connected to the same pad. What's different is you run each strip. So you've got crystal chamber, accent, blade in series, all on the same data line. So data goes in.
Oh, so you're just telling it number 1 to 2 is this, number
Correct.
3 to 8 is that, number 9 to 100 is the main blade. Okay.
Exactly.
That's very cool.
That part of it was fairly easy to figure out.
I think Harris would like that method because to do let's say a Knight Rider strobe or something, that seems like I could wrap my head around that a little better if you told me, okay, that's number 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, now we can go back and forth between those.
So one of the reasons I sold that first Martin Bear was because it had a Profi in it. It was your fault. You're the one who talked me to put the Profi in it. And I put
I was trying to expand his horizons. He didn't take to that.
I couldn't, dude. It was like trying to speak a foreign language for me. I could not understand it. I watched YouTube video after YouTube video.
It's weird.
YouTube video. I went online. I tried to figure it out. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. And yet with the config stuff with the CFX,
it's tough, but you can get it.
He was explaining stuff to me on text, and I was figuring it out as we were doing it, right, Ant?
Yeah, I mean, it's still a challenge because all this new stuff is like almost like coding, right, Harris? It's
Totally.
like, oh, we need channel 4 to do this. It's like, okay, well,
Right.
we need to learn where channel 4 is then. Like, we don't know that. And then we have to learn that. And then once you know it, you have to go in and change it all, right? And then you have to save it and this and that, and then make sure you have a backup of it. So it gets a little complicated. You have to make sure that it works with all the different fonts that you might have in the Saber, because maybe it's not taking on a certain, like, because me and Harris were working on his and we had inadvertently deleted some profiles, come to realize some of the blade effects are no longer working. We're like, how did that happen? Oh, we must have deleted the wrong stuff. We should have deleted X. We deleted Y.
Yeah.
And had to go back to a previous version, kind of start over again. So little things like that, but it overall didn't take. Like sometimes, we talked about it earlier, you can get a delay that's like, oh, we can't finish this till tomorrow or something like that. This wasn't like that. This was like a 30-minute delay of like, oh, we can't figure it out. But 30 minutes later, we're like, oh, okay. Because we had a good person explaining it to us as well. We had Will, Jedi Hesh's friend, explaining to us on a text and voice texting us and stuff like that. If we couldn't get through to him, a JediArmsDealer was going to be my next try. I knew he knew, like, kind of the path to go, probably how to get there. Maybe.
No, you guys taught me something tonight. I did not know until I jumped in on this this session that you could program another pad for just because I was wondering, like, how would I do that with a CFX? Turn motor on and off. Because I know that all 4 pads have power to them all the time once you flick on the power switch.
Right.
And
one thing
that's what's different. That's what's different about CFX and Profi. Profis are off until you ignite the blade. Then those pads come on.
Yeah. I know how to do it now.
That's awesome. I did not know you could
Yeah,
do that.
and I mean, that is something I totally learned as well, which was that those channel pads 1 through 4, I did not know that before you hit the power button, I mean, as long as there's power running through the Saber, so Harris flips the switch, like on his lightsaber in particular, he flips the switch. Now we have power to the lightsaber, but he didn't turn on the blade yet. I had no idea that at that time those channels are providing something, right, Harris? Because we did not know that, because we didn't see the blade on, so we're like, oh, they don't have power. But they had something because the motor's spinning. So once we learned about the channels, we go in, we turn that channel off that we attached the motor to, which is channel 4. We had that pre-knowledge. Harris had gotten that knowledge from Will or from some Facebook group, maybe JediArmsDealer earlier that day. He had come to me with that knowledge already. So we knew to connect it to channel 4, but we didn't know how to control channel 4, But that was interesting to learn that those channels are active even before you turn the blade on. They are sending signals.
Power.
They're hot.
Those are sending signals, and
they're hot. They're getting power instantaneously the minute that you have power to the board.
See, right here, guys, I'm getting schooled right here. So for those of you just getting in, I'm getting schooled by these guys just listening to what they're having to say. And keep in mind, what they're saying and what they're doing and how they're perceiving things. You can learn a lot just listening to everything that people say. But when you're starting out, take the time to learn, take the time to read the manual, take time to come in and see things like this so that you can learn and continue to learn. I am continuing to learn right now as we speak. I mean, I'm like, my mind's like, like channels, really? I mean, I've got a CFX right here. As a matter of fact, I got 2 of them. I haven't even worked on one of them, and I'm learning right now. So if I can eventually do it, there ain't no reason why you guys can't do it. For those of you who are just starting out and watching this and stuff, so believe me, it's cool, man. It's cool.
And I think Mundo sounds like he learns happy as he's happy. Like I'm usually calling JediArmsDealer angry. And then I learn a lot once he tells me what's up, but I have to start out being like angry because I had tried for 2 days before I succumbed to asking questions. I'm like, why isn't this working? He usually has an answer though.
Something funny Saturday night while you and I were working on the Graflex we couldn't figure out the motor at first. I'm like, let's call Dave. Let's call Dave. Dave will know. Let's call Dave.
I would have been useless on that one.
Well, that's
wait. No sooner do I say that I got a notification on my phone, and it said, Dave is asking questions in I don't know one of the, like the CFX page. I'm like, he ain't going to answer us. He's trying to figure something out himself.
Well, JediArmsDealer goes in these like waves of, a lot of times he's in CF10 mode, and then other times he's in Profi mode. And the past few months you've been in CF10 mode, and I guess recently had switched. Now you're in Profi mode.
We got to catch you at the right time, right, Dave?
Did you see the post where I was asking about how to program the red and green lights on the LS6?
Yes, that's exactly what I saw.
That was a
night
bitch.
Around 11 o'clock midnight. And I'm like, I'm like, Ann, he's trying to figure something out too. He don't have time for us. He ain't going to help us.
I always got time for you guys, but yeah, that was a bitch figuring them lights out, man. And Brian, I got to give props to Brian Connor. He's a Profi god.
He's a programming master.
He sent me some code. He sent me some code for those red and green lights.
Keep that around, JAD. I might need those like a month from now. I'm doing a similar build with the Luke Skywalker.
Oh, it's so pimp what he did, what all those guys did with these red and green lights. They flash just like the cave scene.
That's great.
Unreal. Yeah,
we all need a helping hand from time to time.
Absolutely.
Chet Osborne says, I'm still waiting on my TGS Graflex from May 2021. Well, that's been a whole year.
So I ordered one like 2020, right after the Gen 2 came out, and it took a year and a half for me to get mine too.
Oh, so maybe Chet's could be.
I had a couple of times, and not only was I waiting for that, but Dave, we're still waiting for the Flame, right? There were some updates this week. I don't know if you saw them.
Yes, maybe they heard us.
I'm waiting on the Flame, and then I'm waiting a year for the Graflex, and I'm like, I was annoyed, man. I wanted to like, I was like ready to throw all the lightsabers away. I'm like, I'm done. I'm out. I'm done. I'm checking out.
Nah, you can't do that. They got to go in your coffin. Yeah. You can't be like that.
But they actually, I sent them a note. I sent TGS a note, and I said, guys, I've been waiting over a year now, year and a half for this Graflex replica. I'm like, where is it? And the guy's like, they're coming. He was very gracious. He asked me if I wanted a refund, and I said no. I will wait it out. I mean, you guys are well known, and I trust you guys. But it's hard to wait, man. It's hard to wait for this stuff,
Saber time. What can you do when it comes to Saber time?
It's
Can't control it.
Teaching us patience.
Rich Sangilla says, I'm working on an Obi-Wan MHS. It's lots of fun. That's like Mundo style. That's like JediArmsDealer style with the thin neck.
That's my jam. Matter of fact, I got a Franken Obi right here. I was going to show off tonight. Okay. That's so dark in here. Let me click a light on. Hanging out.
Unless you got a working Saber, then
Cylons were taking over. Damn it!
There we go. I'm in Sith mode tonight.
Oh, that's nice. That's a nice Saber.
So then this is a Franken Obi. It's so weird. So
I like it. It looks Luke-ish to me.
Isn't it weird? So it's machined grenade. It actually has an old school Parks engraved with the cotton engraving on the what do you call this? The wind vane.
Yeah.
Roman's emitter. So it's totally Franken Saber. Roman's clamp. This is an MH. This is I don't know if it's MHS, but they said this was from TCSS, but that it would screw right onto the Roman's metal cage on the inside.
I was just going to ask you, like, is it bolted together? Like, how is it all together?
Yeah, the whole thing's threaded. The only thing that doesn't thread quite properly is the pommel. So this is from, oh God.
That's an MHS V1, right? Or is that an Ultra Sabers?
This is an MHS V1. This came from the POC store. So it's just all over the place. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but yeah, I can fit two speakers.
Oh, but it's still cool as hell, man.
Ooh, two
because
speakers.
This is longer. Yeah. So I get two speakers in this bad boy, but it's total Franken Saber. Like it's every piece is a different company. almost. But yeah, And the vented pommel, this is cool. This Pox Store pommel.
That is nice.
So this unscrews the end of it. It's like if I take it and I go like this comes out.
The vents are kind of around the ring there.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Wow.
So it actually vents all the way around.
Like,
this is
it's like standing
cool.
off a bit.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow.
But it screws so close that you can't really tell. It's like it almost looks.
That's
like
beautiful,
flush.
Harris. Look at that. Imagine a Graflex with a bottom like that.
Right. Exactly. That's why I wish someone would do something like this, because you could stamp this bottom with the Graflex stamping and then design it like this. And this would be super cool for sound.
That is
So
nice.
I bought this pommel on someone from eBay, and I was like, I gotta see that vented thing. It was cheap. This thing was like $20. So yeah, Frankensaber. All right, Harris. I want to see this MHS Obi-Wan. Do it. Can you hear me?
Oh, I think he's muted.
Yeah. Let me go back into dark side mode.
Harris might be muted. Yeah, we can't hear Harris.
Resort to sign language.
Let's see. Rich Sangelo says, I'm working on a Lego Saber. Went to the Lego store to get parts to make a Lego crystal chamber. The chassis I made actually can connect to Legos. Holy dude, that's crazy. That is crazy.
That is super crazy.
Make it like clear, like so they can light up the Lego blocks.
Send us photos of that, Rich, so we can post it up here. I want to see that.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. That really sounds cool. Yeah, Harris, you seem to be muted. I think check and see if there's a button on your phone that you hit or on your computer.
Yeah, he's still muted.
Yeah, Jim says that bottom part is great. Oh, he's going to leave and come back. Yeah, I really like that pommel. That's one of the most ingenious pommels I've seen. That is really, really cool.
Yeah, that would make Graflex life a little easier for sound.
You know what pommel sounded like the best, in my opinion, was that one, and I don't think it was ever sold to the public, but you remember that like roundish type of pommel that was on the ring saber? Like I owned the Genesis Custom Sabers gold ring saber. Did you ever see that? I sold it to Bane, and I think he sold it to someone else. So let me show you. Let's pull it up.
When you say gold ring, you mean like Lord of the Rings style or something?
No, it was like a gold ring bar graph that was in a circle.
Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, my computer froze up is what was happening there. I heard you guys, but you couldn't hear me.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, this pommel in this photo, let me try to bring up this photo for you guys. This photo doesn't make it look as round. Like the pommel, I remember being kind of roundish, and it had just great sound. It was almost, oh, you know what it was? It was the Ace Rocket style pommel. I'll show you. Ace Rocket style pommel without the Obi-Wan blocks on it. See if you could see that image off to the right there. Oh, that's not it. But this saber right here is had that pommel there, that gold ring on the pommel took the place of the Obi-Wan blocks. But that pommel,
right,
it had so much resonance because that was a full chamber of just emptiness, and then the speaker was in the handle portion. Really, really sounded great. But then again, I don't know. Every like Genesis Custom Saber I've heard sounds great.
Yeah, he puts a lot of time into resonance for sure.
Oh, the Battle Brick Saber from the Pack Store is a Lego Saber. Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that many years ago. I've seen the one that Ace Rocket did. That was big aluminum hunk. That was like the Lego. I think it's the same thing.
now that we're on big aluminum hunk things and freaking Graflex, I got something I want to show you guys that's super freaky. I picked up on eBay about, I don't know, 6-7 years ago. Lights. All right, so this thing is nuts. This is a 4-cell custom.
What?
And a couple people answered me on Graflex Addict support group. Has anyone else ever seen one of these? I picked it up on eBay. I had no idea what it is. It's a Fulmer non-patent 4-cell monster. And someone on there told me that back in the day when Fulmer was putting these out, that people would customize them for war, because you figure these things were made in the 1940s. This thing literally has it's double layered steel.
What?
On the inside, it weighs like 5 pounds. It's so freaking heavy.
Will it connect to a top part of a Graflex?
Yeah.
Yes, same
will.
J-Lock system. So they're like, yeah, some of these nutty guys that were reporters that would go out into the battlefields, they made sure their camera equipment didn't get blown up. They would like build these. It's the weirdest thing. I've never seen one except for this one that I bought.
What are your plans for that? I've got a couple ideas.
I have no idea. I want to do something.
What if you made an extra long chassis? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Here's another idea. Pack it for like a triple pack of 26 650s for like a runtime that you've just never ever had before.
See if I can catch the reflection. That's a good idea, Space. Just
Damn.
make it like a runtime beast.
That's a cool piece, Dave. Where did you get that at, Dave?
eBay. Some dude threw it up on eBay, and I was like, "What the hell is that?" This was a long time ago.
Wow.
Oh, there we go.
I love it. I could totally see it. Like since you say it's very heavy, maybe do like the chassis in mostly acrylic, like in your smoke and clear acrylic and stuff, and maybe some piano black pieces in it and stuff. I mean, it would just be.
What does it say on the bottom? Does it say 3-cell?
It does. So it's
my god!
So
it's just a monster.
They took a 3-cell, cut it, and extended it.
You can see the weld marks on it, and then they ground it all down and polished it. So this is like some wartime camera piece.
Wow.
That's incredible,
really weird.
Man.
Yeah, I was like, I gotta show this to these guys tonight because
that's amazing.
It just sits, but yeah, it's a Fulmer non-patent. That's what I loved about it. I was like, that's just nutty.
That is something for the collection for sure.
Museum style, yeah. Bless you, man. Yeah, so
I talk about real vintage right there, right?
Wow,
it's totally weird. Like,
I love that you say, because I could see too where it flared out for the thicker metal.
Yeah,
no, I don't think I would build that. I think I would just keep that as a collector's piece.
No, I'm not gonna defile it at all. I'm just gonna. But I do want to build something that'll go in here, like what.
Like I would just think that if you had a chassis or something, that wouldn't hurt the piping. Like that it would just if it just goes into the bottom of a Graflex, that wouldn't hurt it.
Wow,
totally.
That is something else.
Not weird. Like
that is something I've never seen that before, man. That is crazy.
It tripped me out when it came in. I was like, wow, somebody really freaking was passionate about their Graflexes back in the 40s.
Yeah.
But they said, yeah, they used to customize them like that for wartime.
Because you know what it could be like in the Star Wars universe, it could be for like Jedi, like an alien Jedi with like extra, like needed more of a two-handed grip.
Right.
Like a bigger alien.
Exactly, a bigger alien with like bigger hands, and just like wanted to have they had a Graflex style lightsaber, but it was like longer.
Yeah, what was
Jedi?
Here, I'm a Green Lantern fan. What was the Green Lantern, the bigger dude, and he had the bigger ring?
I actually like that movie.
Are you talking about Kellogg?
Kellogg, yeah.
Kellogg?
Yeah. Yeah, he had the big ring.
Right.
All right, give me a second, guys. I'll be right back. I gotta let this dog outside.
So
I know.
Yeah, I've got a 2003 Master Replicas Vader right here. Eventually, I'm gonna end up doing.
Those are fun to customize and build.
Yeah, I've had it for a long time, and it started screwing up. I even still have the board and stuff for it, but I'm not gonna throw that board
Yeah.
into it. I wanna throw something in here. I'm not sure what I want to throw in here, but
That's
eventually I
actually
want to work on
that's the
this. And,
that's the slightly bigger one, Mundo. Can I see the emitter?
yeah.
Oh, okay. It doesn't have so you took the spring out that was in there? Like there's like that round spring that goes around the outside, inside?
So I don't think it had a spring in it though.
Okay. So it's stamped 2003 though on the pommel?
Yeah, it's stamped 2003. So
That-
I'll take out the pommel. So I don't know if you can actually see it here or not. But
Yeah. So that was Master Replica's first Vader
Right.
saber, and I want to say their first string LED saber. I'm pretty sure about that. The
yeah,
first six segmented string blade saber was
Right.
that one right there.
mm-hmm.
That was
So-
pretty cool when that came out because I was like, wow, cool, they finally did it where it goes up and down the blade, you know?
It did. Yeah, the blade did go up and down, and surprisingly, it was kind of loud for what it was.
Totally.
And-
Yeah.
And I was really surprised, but then when the blade started really screwing up, not scrolling up and down anymore, and then eventually it got to the point where the LEDs were starting to cut out.
Yeah.
I'm all like, you know what?
Mundo, that was a Master Replicas, like an FX saber, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay.
And so I decided, well, and then I had when after that had happened to this, I started watching Ant's builds, right? And my friend passed, and I started watching Ant's builds. I'm all like, damn, I'm gonna gut this on bitch and work on it myself. And
Yeah.
it's been sitting there here in my garage, and forgive me, it's about hot as hell in here, like I said, but I was like, I've been seeing all these people do Vaders, and I'm all like, I've got a Vader. I can do one. I got the perfect people to help me get it done.
What's really cool about that version of Vader is that's the biggest diameter Vader and lengthwise that Master Replica's made. And so you can for sure fit one of those new KR Sabers 31 millimeter bass speakers in there.
Wow.
Those things
yeah.
are nuts.
I mean, this thing is huge. I mean, it's almost hard to get my whole hand around there. I got a big hand too. I mean, but still.
Does TCSS still sell those emitters, the internal blade socket for those?
Yes, they do. As a matter of fact, I just looked up
all
on one
those-
the other day.
Yeah, they
For the
had all those
2003
blade
though?
sockets for you could convert them. Way
But
back.
it's
I don't know if they still sell them though.
It's 2003 specific.
I don't know if it's 2003 specific. I'll have to look at that. But
Yeah, because that's a
I
bigger
do
diameter.
know that they do have the blade holder for Vader, so I would have to
Yeah.
ask them. And if
Yeah, I
not,
would-
maybe I can just get one made.
Yeah, I'd ask them because I know that's a bigger diameter saber
Mhm.
than the later generation Master Replica Vaders.
Yo,
Yeah,
you
they went
guys,
smaller and smaller, didn't they?
Yeah, they started making, they tried to get them closer to 1-to-1 ratio, whereas they started out kind of too big in the beginning.
See,
So
and I still need to get like the fins for it because I had bought some Vader fins that I thought I could put on there, but they're not the ones that actually go onto it, and they're not right unless I cut a notch out into them. And I'm not gonna do that because I'm not too skilled. I'd screw it all up before that happens. So, but I think Shapeways has where you can. I think the fins for I want to say like $11 a piece. I think.
Okay.
So I'm gonna look into those and eventually acquire those so that I can put them back on the Saber, and then clean it up and then get a chassis for it and
are
all
you
that.
talking
good
about
stuff.
the rubber parts on the
The
bottom?
grips.
The grips?
The grips.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because One Replicas, if you can contact them probably on Instagram, Mundo, if you want metal ones.
Those are
If you
cool.
want metal ones for that, they make metal ones. It's pretty
They're
cool.
nice, man. I saw them last time I was over your house.
Yeah, those
They're
are
nice.
those
I
are
like
real
them.
nice.
So One Replica still. That's who had been making them for a while, right? For
I mean, I recently discovered that they had these. They had sent it to me as like a sample, and really nice to have like aluminum T rods. That was
That'd make it heavy. Yeah, that'd be cool.
really
Heavy
tough.
duty.
So about that Fulmer, Jim Smith says they come in 2, 3, 4, 5 and ultra rare 7 cell. While I was up, I thought of something that is just so crazy. I just wanted to tell you guys, and this is just a nutty idea. So I actually thought of two kind of crazy ideas. First is JediArmsDealer. I'll draw this design I came up with while I was standing up, which is involving, like, let's say you did a chassis that ran the length of that long Graflex bottom.
Mm-hmm.
I have kind of a design that would aim neopixels at a crystal in like an X pattern, and you could they could almost be like all aiming at the crystal. Like when you took the bottom off, these things could be kind of like aiming at the crystal, just lighting up that crystal like no other, because you'd have these strips of, like, let's say what we use for like the dual star Omega. I forget what they're called now. What are those called? Those
You talking about the little tiny ones you sent me?
Yeah,
high definition.
The high definition ones that you like.
God, I love those. Oh my god.
Or even the ones that Tom from Megtooth Sith was talking about, which are the 1515. Maybe those would be better because if they're smaller. But to get them in there, kind of like in this X pattern, aiming right at the crystal. So that's my one idea. I'll draw it up for you, that design. Second idea is this is crazy. So, but I know you could do it if you wanted to. I'm not saying it's child's play, but I'm saying it's within your realm because you've kind of done it already. So, you know how you have that Sidious Saber where it's like everything is put in a very small container, basically, and it has, I mean, what did it have? A Profi or a CF10? But you had like a battery, a board, a Profi, an emitter, a Bluetooth, a little accent LEDs all over, right? So what if you built and designed, it could be made out of fiberglass, the hilt body, it could be made out of plastic, and what it is a saber within a saber. So when you open up that Graflex bottom, you have like a Sidious size second saber that fucking comes out.
I love it.
Like a Russian
doll saber.
That is a trip, man. Has here's something for you. Has anybody ever made a flex capacitor crystal chamber?
I don't think so. That's a good idea, Mundo.
Like,
wow.
me and Armsdealer,
if anybody can do it, you did.
When we discussed the
filaments
that we kind of mentioned flux capacitor a couple of times, like this could look like the flux capacitor if we had used filaments. And actually when you showed that long Fulmer hilt, I was actually thinking, what if you ran filaments up and down the left and right of like a chassis? But then I started thinking, why would he do that when he has neopixel, right? So
well, they're going in Jeff's build. Harris, you asked me what I was working on. I have it right here all in demo mode, but I'm afraid if I lift it up and turn it on, I'm going to short something out. But the filaments are, I figured out how to resistor 2 of the filaments that you showed me, Space, and they're going in the, the
wow, that's
doors.
awesome.
So when you open up the doors, there's going to be a power core in there, and that's the charge part.
Oh, so that's so sick.
I'm using your idea.
So if anybody's listening that doesn't know what we're talking about, an LED filament is like a filament inside a light bulb that you might see like glows really brightly and then it burns out. LED filaments can't really burn out, but they are supposed to look and appear like an Edison bulb or like a real filament, but they can light up pure white, or they can light up with whatever color you purchase, right? So the filament could be yellow, or it could be blue,
that's
probably,
cool.
or something.
Yeah, they look yellow on the outside, but when they light up, they're like blinding white. They're weird.
Yeah. So there's all these different types. Like some people want these filaments to imitate Edison bulbs, so they're yellowy, but some people want them to put like in like Audi headlights or something, and then in that case they are like ultra white.
Right.
So that's going to be super nutty in a Saber. We think, we got a
Absolutely.
couple YouTubers who left comments from me saying, you should try these filament things and stuff like that. So we had talked about it, and I think it'd be great for a Saber because those things are tiny. And for something like what Harris is building, his Martin Bear Graflex, they got these tubes and they have these places where you don't have much space and stuff like that. And a filament LED is great to like go in a tube or something. Like if you had a tube, Harris, where you had a copper tube that you had drilled microscopic holes in, inserted one of these filaments and lit it, because the wires positive and negative are on the top and bottom of that. It could be inside a tube. And I mean, that could be something crazy, too, because I know that Harris runs some hollow copper piping.
That's what I just held up. Yeah, it hurts.
And that's white, because to me, I'm seeing like it looks orangey, but it's probably just the room lighting or something. But yeah,
It's
look at
crazy
that.
bright. Like, I mean,
Damn, that is
Wow.
bright as
And now how
hell.
many volts you running through this? Is that 3, or is this like a
like 3.5.
wow?
cool.
Yeah, they're insane. I mean,
Look
look,
at
it's
that, dude.
not crazy.
That's gonna be. Is that too much for the Saber?
Maybe
Oh,
I could,
man.
but I'm gonna resistor it down. It is too much. Like in that mode.
Wow,
resistor
that
down.
is
They're gonna-
epically bright, man.
I can't wait.
That is
so
epic.
sick. Yeah, thanks for the idea, Anthony. That's gonna be insane.
I could imagine if we attach those. So the CF10 has like, what is it, Harris? Like 8 or 9 spots for accent LEDs, and imagine you have like a bar graph with those running up. Oh
Very
my
cool.
God, that would be like
Very cool.
blinding.
Right?
Super bright.
Yeah, they hurt. I had to resistor them with one of those variable resistors. Anything else I tried was like glitching the board, but once I put the variable resistor on there, it started working. So game on.
Jim Smith says, and this must be why Mundo said that Vader was so thick. It's 1.56 diameter, 1.56 inch diameter. Yeah,
Boom. I
it's
was telling
robot
Mundo,
hands holding that one.
he's got to put that 31 millimeter bass speaker in there. Yeah.
Everything's bigger in Texas, boys.
Carlton Turner, thank you for the super chat, $2. He says, awesome ideas. Thank you so much.
We're having fun.
Yeah, you should see like if JediArmsDealer opened up a museum, a Saber museum, it would be epic. I think last week, I don't know if it was last week you were on, but you had showed us one time your Graflex collection, and I think you just showed us a poster maybe, or a picture, which was just like, I mean, even if you just had Graflex lightsabers, you'd have an epic collection, but you have like a lot of other sabers as well.
That's some cuckoo.
And a lot of them are empty, right? You still have you can still do stuff to many number of them. They're not all installed into.
Yeah, I'd say 90% of them are just untouched. Like
that is awesome. Well, I mean, a lot of it for good reason, right? Because like some of these are like for instance, the Fulmer piece you held up is like, it's rare. So it's like, you don't really want to, let's say, drill holes in it and stuff like that. You have to figure out something to do with it that won't affect it. And some of those other pieces like the Graflexes, Harris was telling me that, to slide in these full length chassis and stuff, you have to do stuff to the inside. Like you are changing the Graflex, right, Harris? Like you are altering the slide button, you are doing certain things to it that now it's no longer, I mean, untouched. So if you go forward and make a Saber out of it, you are changing it. So
definitely. But I mean, there are things that I did to my vintage Graflex that I regret doing. I modified it's a vintage red button, but I modified it so that it would one of the original chassis. It's about the 3rd or 4th time that I rebuilt this thing, but the original chassis, the button stuck in too long. So I went in the threads on the bottom. I ground down the threads on the bottom of my vintage. You can't see it unless you take the button off. But if it was today, I wouldn't do that.
You would keep it
Yeah.
original, as
Yeah.
original as you could.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
now,
Dave.
but,
Yeah,
I was gonna,
I think
go ahead.
Anthony's got the right idea. Maybe you should use that foamer for nothing but a huge battery pack, man. You just click it in there and boom. You don't even have to modify nothing in it. You just put all your batteries in there. You don't have to modify nothing. And just click it in there, man.
That
I
would
can
be
run
crazy.
Run a TriStar at the convention for
You'd
12
be
hours
running
straight.
perpetual. Because you know what you could do too, JAD? You could kind of combine these ideas. You could have a super long chassis in there, right? That is holding a few batteries. So maybe you scale down the batteries a little bit. Maybe you put like 18650s, but you have a couple stacked, and you have a chassis around it that's just blinking and everything else. This is held on to the main upper part via those super powerful magnets you've been using, right?
Oh, geez, yeah.
And connected via a pogo connection system that just gives you the plus and minus maybe of your power, and maybe, you know, some signals coming down for these accents, right? And what you can, when those batteries run dead, which they would last a while, because if it's a pack of like two 18650s wired together, you just snap it off like it's a glow stick, because with the magnets, toss it aside, get your second chassis that you've spent weekends building, and you stick that on via another magnet with fresh batteries, you know, freshly charged batteries. Maybe that's the Sith sort of one where it's all red, like lighting up all red, or maybe it's a darkened acrylic pieces in there, you know.
Battle War mode. I love
Home
that.
Depot's gonna probably be calling you pretty soon for your battery system.
Jim says LED filaments are awesome. You can get red, green, blue, warm white, and cool white. Yeah, I think for sabers, like any of those would be awesome. But for me, and Harris knows this because I've been kind of favoring these colors lately for the accents on the inside, which would be red and blue. I really like inside a saber when like you get the flashing back, like red and blue flashing back and forth. Something, I don't know, really Jedi and Sith about that, like inside, and really like technical to me. That's the way it looks. I could see those.
Those are my two favorite alternating colors in a chassis is red and blue.
And the cool part about those two is like if you do have them, like control over them, and you could light them up at the same time, now you have purple. So you can kind of play around with red and blue different ways.
Totally.
Jim says, or recess in an emitter behind a mesh screen, and light up on the clash and lockup effects. Yeah, that would look cool. That would look kind of like the exhaust, like a Kylo Ren exhaust on, you know, because that's so bright. Those things are so bright. Rich Sangela says, yeah, have it charge your iPhone too. It could if you had a little USB port,
Jump
a little
start your
USB-C
car.
port, or a magnet charger, depending on what style iPhone you have. That'd be cool. I mean, there's so many possibilities with that. Like, I just love the idea how you could do all that and you wouldn't damage, like the Fulmer piece. That's a lot of fun.
You could probably fit 3 18650s in this thing. It's huge.
Yeah. Jim says, I like where your head is at, Anthony. Yeah, we're sabers, all sabers all the time. He says, do the 1515 neopixel. That would work. That would work well.
Have you seen the new super tiny strips that Cal has on there?
I'll have to look. I was just on his website about a week ago. I didn't go into the tab of the neopixel, so I should check. What, he's got 1515 strips?
I'm not sure what they are. If he calls out, he must label them, but they looked. They might be the 1515s. You have to go there and look. I forget. I was shopping for May the 4th. I picked up 2 CFXs on May the 4th from TCSS.
I was actually able to pick up one only. I almost got the what is the other one that they sell besides the CFX?
Golden Harvest.
The
Golden
Harvest. The Golden Harvest.
G3.
I almost picked up the Golden Harvest, but I just didn't have enough funds for it. So it's like, I'll have to wait.
Yeah, I hear those are cool. I just don't know if I'm ready to learn another operating system. I'm like, geez, just barely getting to keep it up with Plector and Profi.
Carlton Turner says, I just received a Sentinel from Saberforge SpaceWindu. Can I buy a stupid bright blade from you? Yeah, absolutely. I put a tag up here for CivilizedSabers.com. When you get a blade from there, I make it. So right up there right now, I think are TriStars, which is probably the one I'd recommend for you. We also have Quad Star available, but that might be too much for the battery. I don't know what kind of battery is in the Saberforge, but certainly a TriStar would work okay, I think, because everything we've tried a TriStar in is pretty nice. Even my Saber, which has like a older type of set of batteries, that's like not usually as strong as like an 18650.
Let me stop you a second, Ant. Saberforge, a lot of their newer sabers have the threaded blade. If their blade for their saber is a threaded blade, they're not going to be able to use a Civilized Sabers blade.
Oh, okay. So if it's not, yeah, like normally I'm used to seeing the universal
it's got to be the
neopixel connector.
Neopixel adapter.
Yeah, if it's not that, where you could look on my site in some of my videos, look on Civilized Sabers has a YouTube channel as well, and you could see I usually do a close-up of the bottom of the blade when I show a blade that I made, and you could see that it's got like that universal neopixel connector. So if your Saber has the stock connector, that'll work, or a pogo connection system, that'll work. But if it's something where you have to, where the blade has to be threaded, yeah, like Harris is showing here,
Beautiful.
Something like that is fine. That works. But if your blade is like threaded or some other type of blade, that may not work. So just like check close on our videos just to make sure. We try to make it as universal as possible, but some of the companies I think have probably particulars. So just double check. But if you do end up ordering one and it doesn't work for you, I will take it back. I'm not gonna like be like, haha, you're stuck with now. We don't do that. So if you get something and it doesn't work, we will either fix it if you want it repaired or give you your money back if it's literally not going to work for you. I saw these on Adafruit. So Jim Smith says Adafruit has a 15.5 meter length. So I'll probably pick up some of those on my next order. I just got an order in on Saturday from Adafruit, but the next time I order, I will try them because there is like for blade applications, I don't want to use them, but for other applications like for like JediArmsDealer in chassis and stuff like that, those I think would be the most perfect ones because they are the smallest.
What's the density on those on a 1515? Can you get them in 144 or is it greater?
I don't know. Let's look. I'll pull it up right now.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Pull up the Adafruit site because I don't recall what those numbers were. I bet you Jim has the answer before I can click on this though.
Hey guys, I think I'm going to check out soon. It's getting past my bedtime.
All right, yeah, buddy. No worries.
Good hanging with you, Harris.
It was fun.
Good hanging with you.
Fun this weekend too.
I had a blast.
Well done, guys.
Always a pleasure, Harris.
And hopefully I'll see you guys next Monday.
Oh yeah, Mundo Monday.
Robert says he might jump in next Monday, so we should have 5 next Monday.
The more the merrier.
That's the ones I buy, the 7.5 millimeter. RGBW, that's not it. Actually, I'll share my screen so you guys can see what I'm looking at, so it doesn't.
All right, guys, I'll be with you in spirit. I'm going to turn it on while I'm laying in bed.
All right, Harris. Have a good
All right, man. Have a good night, bro.
Love you guys. Be good, everybody.
Later,
Thank you, buddy.
Later.
Okay, so I'm just. I see when it says mini skinny. That's the ones that I'll build a blade. Is this the ones 7.5 millimeters wide. That's like the width of the ones I build, but we need 144 on those. Like this is like 144 skinny neopixel on a black backing. That's similar to what I get, but we need a white backing. And we're still looking for 150 for 1515s. What are those? Black PCB.
Where do they call it out though? Like I'm not seeing.
Is it
I'm
this
not seeing all the
one?
info.
So thin, so mini, so teeny. 30 addressable. No, that's
Oh, 5
that's
millimeter if you
7.5.
remove the weatherproof casing.
Oh, is that what it says?
Yeah. That's pretty freaking skinny. 5 millimeter. Because that doesn't look high density. I was just curious.
Did I go past it?
Oh, you're looking for that 5 millimeter wide?
I'm looking for the 1515s.
That's the thing.
Here we go. Okay, here we go.
There they are.
So it is,
not
basically, because it's half a meter, 75 LEDs.
Oh, wow.
75 times 2 is what? 150. So it's even denser by a little bit. So yeah, these are what I'll get next time, just to play around with the just to play around with for the interior of sabers. I think these would work really good. I mean, they might surprise me, but I think Tom said in one of his videos that he didn't think that they were bright enough to do a blade. So I'd probably take his word for that. But they do look really great for special effects and stuff inside the saber. Like, look how small those are.
How do you solder to that? There's only 2 pads, it looks like.
Well, one is on the back, so this is like
okay.
positive, negative, I think, and then the data is on the back. I think is how it goes. Let's see if
looks like power's on one side and ground's on the other, and then data's next to power. Those are cool.
Yeah,
those are cool.
So those are what I'm talking about. Could be like in a chassis that was like pointing at your crystal from like different directions, and you have it all like running toward the crystal, or maybe even like imagine on lockup or something, like the crystal pulsing and then it reverses direction. It's going outward. I mean, this shit.
So the light you can either shoot it in towards the crystal or pull it out from the crystal. Like
yes,
I see what you're talking about.
That'd be nutty, right?
Please draw it though, because
I will.
Your drawings are inspirational.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. Those 1515s. Those are nice.
4 millimeters. Good.
Carlton Turner says it's a 1-inch diameter blade. I guess whatever Saber Forge uses. It's not threaded, and I don't know what battery. Yeah, so I think you'd be okay. He says it's in because it can't expose the chassis. Gotcha. Yeah, I think it should be okay then for a Civilized Sabers blade if it's not like a threaded blade like Harris was talking about. You should be okay. Because I haven't come across that yet. I haven't come across anybody that has ordered a blade that hasn't worked. So I think you should be good. Yeah, those Jim Smith says those are only as bright. This is 3030s.
Yeah, they're not even as bright as a 3030.
No, they're not as bright.
I don't care though, because like you said, I'd just be using them for chassis accents.
Right.
But yeah, unless you fit a ton of them in there, Space did like a higher than a pentastar.
Yeah, like that'd be fun to try that, wouldn't it? Like try to do like a 6, like a I don't know what you call it, a sectastar or something, like whatever, but
an octastar.
Yeah, that would be something crazy, and you could fit a lot of them. You could fit a lot of them in there. That would be, how many would that be if it was like 8 strips of like one? No, it wouldn't be a meter though. It would be like, let's say it's 100 LEDs times 8. We were talking about 800 LEDs in one blade. That would be nutty.
Call it the octastar.
You know where it would get nutty, Space, is you use what I was talking about earlier with the you run them all in series. and then you can control each strip individually. Can you imagine all the wacky graphics you could get? What each pixel was doing its own thing.
Holy shit! A tornado blade.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would, like, I don't know how you'd program that, but man, you could do some crazy looking stuff because you'd have different
That's
strips
true.
of different colors all the way around in an octa pattern.
It would be the best special effects blade for, like, you know, candy cane style stuff for Christmas, or like any type of special effect. That would be just, it would literally be like a TV screen in a circle, like wrapped around in a circle.
Right.
That's how many pixels there would be.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be like one of those, like, you know, old RGB sets, but you take all the RGB pixels and wrap them around. And you could play Seinfeld on it. With the TriStar, is it the 144 LEDs? Yeah. So I purchased from Adafruit the 144, the ones they call skinny, and they're 3535, and they are on the 7.5 millimeter backing, white backing, and those form around like the tri-core, which is like a triangular shape. So you've got the and they ended up being, usually when you're about 32 inches, we're talking like 118 LEDs. So it's like 118 LEDs times 3. We usually end up spilling over like 350, right? It's almost like it's almost 360 at that point, as far as total amount of LEDs in there.
And you said that's the one that's crushing the light meter, right, Space?
That in the photon tube, which I haven't went over on my desk over there, that I was testing the other day, and it was like some of the numbers I was getting was like 16,000. It was crazy. I couldn't believe it.
Wow.
The TriStar in a trans white tube is like more normal style numbers, like around like 6,000 for some of the colors. 8,000 is like the higher end when you're talking about trans white. Something that the photonic tube does to those colors, though, is just like just blasts it out, and all of a sudden we're getting readings of like, you know, 14,000 like on the reg. It's crazy.
That's crazy.
And some of the colors produce like 16,000. I was just like freaking out when I was doing it in front of Harris the other day, and one of the blades we made, I was like, what the hell? This is crazy. But you know what's like economically bright is those the KR strips. They're also in like the 14,000 range, you know, on some of the colors and stuff. So those like are not quite as many LEDs, but they're the bigger LEDs. So there's 350 LEDs in a TriStar. There's 200 and something, depending on the length. You know, let's say 220 in a in a KR style blade. And
those are 50/50s.
Those are the 50/50 styles. So those produce like some of the numbers those produce are like, you know, 12,000, 14,000, 15,000, 16,000. But
in a photonic?
Yeah.
Does it have to be in a photonic? Okay.
No, some of those I get good numbers, like 12,000 I can get on like in a trans white for those. So depending on, some of those numbers are big. Like on the blues, like on that aqua style blue that's like almost green, it goes to like 14,000 on there. It's pretty nutty.
That is nutty.
But it's like for people that want the most LEDs, that's why I make the blades like the Quad Star or the TriStar. It's like the Quad Star is not necessarily going to be like the brightest, although some of the numbers we got were the brightest. Like Gabe was getting like 16,000 and up on the Quad Star, with his Saber running his battery. Some of my Sabers like weren't producing those numbers. It just kind of depends, but those ones with more LEDs are not necessarily going to be the brightest. It's just kind of like, oh, I have the most LEDs, you know. It's not necessarily like the brightest LEDs.
So, and it's good that you say that, so that way people know exactly what they're getting when they, you know, this and that, and with the LEDs and stuff. Like you said, not necessarily the brightest, but the most LEDs in a blade itself.
Right.
And But that's something to be said for it too. I mean, fitting that many in there, like, damn, I had a hard time putting in two in, and you putting that many? Shee. Let's put it this way. Shee.
So space can build blades in his sleep now. So
Major crimes. Shit.
that's funny. Hey, oh, you took your screen down. I was gonna say you should jump over to the Saber Armory. I'm dying to know, like, if he's reselling the.
Oh yeah, we could do that.
I'm totally curious now, because those are badass.
You want to check if he's selling the 1515s? You said.
That's all. I don't know. Like, how long were those strips? The ones we just had up. Oh,
see, this is what, Cal, I actually sent Cal an email about this a couple of years back. I don't like when he does this because
you can't do research.
Yeah, because you're supposed to, like, there's some, Cal, if you ever see this, there are some schematics on your site that some people that like might be installing when your products see the schematics. So, and you also want people, I mean, don't you want people to fill their cart, even if they can't go until 2 weeks from now or something. So I don't know. Maybe I guess you could probably get a password. It says enter your password. You could probably get a password and I guess get in there, but just for normal passerby, that doesn't work.
Oh well.
It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
It be what it be.
What else was I going to talk about? On the Profi, I now figured out how to run the crystal chamber motor space for future reference. And I even did the programming, so when the crystal chamber, where the crystal's rotating, it can rotate. I programmed it to where it can rotate right when you turn the blade on, and then when you hit clash, it stops, it stutters. Right.
That's what we were gonna do, because we set the lockup quotient to be 0, so that like when you locked up, the crystal would like stop spinning. Some people did it the opposite way, where it's like spinning, like let's say at a certain number, like 300, and then you put in 1023 for the lockup, so it would like be spinning out of control for lockup. So I guess there's a couple of different ways you could do it.
Yeah, and then you can flip it to where it will only rotate when you clash or lock up, so it doesn't, the motor doesn't crush your battery. Not that they use that much power, but it's just kind of neat to have it do it either way, flip it.
Can't the Profi, like Felicia's talking about running ads on the blade we were talking about before, but can't the Profi do the thing where like you swing the blade and it'll make an image if you program it properly?
Yeah, that actually comes on the stock SD card setup in the stock programming.
That's pretty cool. Like see an image in the light wave that you leave behind.
Yeah, you swing it back and forth like at a certain speed, and it says Star Wars in yellow.
Yeah. That is crazy. Rich Sangillo asks, are they wired in series? The reason I ask is Saberforge is using Golden Harvest, and I don't think they can do more than 144. The KR V1 won't work. Yeah, well, that's why, some of the board's capabilities is why the KR version 1 isn't operable on some of those boards, because they run the 264 in series. So truly it's like number 1 through 264 rather than being like let's say 1 through 120 and you just have 2 sides. So the way I do it is like the V2 KR kind of, where I have like the 3 strips, like let's say in a TriStar, but they are independently working. If the number is like 119 on that one side, then it's 119. It's just they're all kind of parallel like that. So I've never done it that way, but I did appreciate the KRV1 because I felt like that had a like a high definition type of aspect to it, where the blade effects were smoother because it's operating on these LEDs that are super close together, and I know they're staggered and they're on different sides of the blade, but being so close together and operating in that manner with all the diffusion working properly in your blade when you got like really good diffusion, it just looks so good. Like it's almost a shame that they changed that. But you know, things like the Dual Star Omega is like what I use now if I want something like really high definition, because you're getting 264 on both sides. So you have like 264 on one side, 264 on the other side, and we can see like the smoothest animations possible. But still, like you mentioned here, you will need a board that can operate 264 or something up to like 280, let's say. And not all the boards do that. So it just depends. But for my blades, other than a Dual Star Omega, they don't operate that way. Jim Smith says, back when we were doing in-hilt single chip LEDs, I was thinking of doing a white laser for the blade, but no film will last for a color without smoking. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, like the laser sabers are pretty attractive. They're pretty attractive. Me and JediArmsDealer were trying to figure out a way to use a mirror in one of those laser sabers to kind of simulate an extension retraction type of effect.
Till the mirror gets bent and we blind ourselves.
Yeah. Now, you know how LEDs are called class 2 lasers?
Mm-hmm.
There was an LED, a single LED that Vader's Vault was going to put into my custom saber before they kind of stopped doing the custom saber game and moved to mostly doing their store stuff. But the light that they were going to put in my saber was called a flat light. I don't know. I never really heard of it since then or before then, but they had mentioned to me it's called a flat light, which is supposed to be you know how most LEDs at the time, this was maybe 10 years ago, most LEDs at the time were 10 watt. And then the people started experimenting with like 20 watt, I think it was, and maybe higher. And the flat light was supposed to be something like 30 watt or 50. It was supposed to be like a really powerful flashlight light. And that was going to be my sort of daylight white blade. And I was going to use the film to change the color of the blade slightly, but that saber was actually never made. But yeah, for a while, the brightest thing, according to Vader's Vault, was something called the flat light, PH, like PHL, flat light. I don't know. I never came across it since then. I never saw it because the saber never got made, but it was supposed to be like an almost laser white that was just going to be ridiculous and need some kind of crazy battery to it.
Wow.
Carlton Turner, yeah. I mean, that idea for like the flat light is just I want to see what that would have been like, because I remember there was a maker on FX Sabers. What was his name on there? Like Proton, or I forget. I think his name was Sunrider, and he had a saber with like a crazy high powered LED in it that was supposed to be the brightest thing in the world. So I wanted to see like that for myself, but it never kind of got there, and eventually changed to neopixel. People kind of went toward neopixel instead. Carlton Turner says, who builds saber hilts out of U3? I'm new. Could I commission an entire saber build from you guys? I have a son on the way and I would love a custom saber, so we need so we can hang out together in the future. Yeah, we all make custom sabers. Mundo's just starting out. JediArmsDealer, myself, have been doing it for years. As far as I go, I'm kind of like booked up with my hilts and stuff. I think JediArmsDealer is in the same position where some builds that I was commissioned back in like 2019, I'm still working on those. So maybe even back at 2018. So I'm really slow and I don't have any like spots open at the moment. But I am always building sabers, but it's kind of just these sabers that like people commission from me already, and I keep building them, trying to get them done type of thing. But I haven't been taking anything new. since about April 2020, unless you order a blade. Because see, a blade I can make pretty quickly, but a hilt that runs the blade is what takes me a really long time. So like the hilts I'm super slow at, and I'm trying my best. But the blades I can do from Civilized Sabers website if you want something in regards to like a custom blade. But yeah, you guys want to say anything about that?
I was going to say, you know, who makes really good one-offs is Starfall Sabers. If you go to
Yes.
Starfall on YouTube, hit him up. He's busy, but he has, I think,
it's like
one-off
6
sabers
months
in his Etsy store.
Right.
Yeah.
And also like when you do commission something from him, I don't think it's more than about 6 months usually for something.
Yeah.
So that's not too bad. Like it might sound like a lot, like holy crap, 6 months, but for like a custom saber, that's not too bad. I also, as far as people that I like, that I see online, I like space junk sabers. I like the way they look. If you're looking for somebody who I recommend, I recommend Sebastian from Starlight Saber Services, who I send my overflow to. So when people ask me, do I make custom sabers, I always send them to Sebastian at Starlight. He's a younger guy who got into sabers a few years ago, and he has a lot of the machines he needs to make custom sabers for people. And he also sells LGT hilts, which are pretty affordable, like neopixel saber. So that's a fun website to take a look at, Starlight Saber Services, and you could talk to Sebastian, tell him I sent you if you buy something from him. But yeah, as far as I go, I'm kind of booked up with the hilt stuff at the moment.
And then Robert will be
Hey
on
guys,
here maybe next
sorry
Monday.
to interrupt, but I got to get going, man.
All right, Mundo.
So
no big deal. I'm gonna wrap this
have
up
a
pretty
good
soon
night.
anyway.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. Dave will be talking to you. Space, thank you again. Happy Mundo Monday, everybody. Felicia, everybody that's in the chat, thank you guys. I appreciate. Love you guys all. Have a great Mundo Monday night.
Love you, Mundo. Good luck.
Love you too, Mundo. Have a good one. Peace out.
Peace.
Let's see what Jim says here. The way white laser works is a Blu-ray LED shoots into a flat of white phosphorus and then a mirror array. Huh. Sounds powerful. I like it.
Yeah.
Sounds very, very powerful.
Blu-ray LED.
Yeah. Rich Sangillo is another person you could talk to. It sounds like he'll talk to you about something, Carlton. So talk to Rich. He's everybody that I said previously are awesome, but I would talk to Rich first if he's willing to do something for you. Harris says check with Will at Davidium Sabers if you want something like Harris had, which is like a fancy Graflex. Yeah, Jim says 6 months is nothing.
Yeah.
6 months is nothing in the life of an elf. Come on.
That's a flash in Saber world.
All right, guys. Well, that was a lot of fun hanging out on this Mundo Monday. I think we will wrap up the show. Look at that Saber collection going on in JediArmsDealer's background. That is something else. It almost looks like, you know what it looks like? It looks like they're searching for Batman up on the building, you know, like the searchlight, and instead they just see all these sabers.
Yeah.
I thought we were supposed to find Batman here.
That's funny.
But yeah, we're going to do these shows like every single Monday. If you guys want to come hang out, talk sabers, whatever we have going on, Saber related, we'll share with you on Mundo Monday. I'll invite a bunch of people, whoever stops by. You know, we'll have different group of people. Usually Saber makers is the group of friends. I've been inviting some Civilized Sabers peeps like Harris and Gabe as well. Who knows if they'll stop by. Next week might have Robert Sotomayor. We'll probably have Mundo again. Might have Harris, have JediArmsDealer. So stop by and see what's going on next Monday about 10 Eastern Standard Time in the evening. We'll
Yep.
be here talking sabers and stuff. You know, sometimes I have like a real saber filled weekend like we just had, and we could talk about it. Come Monday, I know a lot of people do their saber work on Sunday. You know, a lot of their machine work and stuff on the weekend when they don't have to be at their day job. That's kind of what I do. Is because I work all week, so on the weekends I like to go in on the saber builds and try to finish up those builds that I've got on the bench. I got pretty far this weekend, like not only on Harris Saber, but on another Graphics too. Harris says, "Love you guys."
Love you, Harris.
He is watching from the comfort of his Betty. I hope you guys are too. Pull those comforters in close. It is story time. No, we're not going to tell a story. I'm not going to tell a story today.
No courtroom stories, right, Harris?
Courtroom stories have to leave out the extraneous details.
Judge Judy's coming for you.
Leave out the names and the similar circumstances as to not
protect the innocent.
To protect the innocent, exactly.
That's funny.
Well, JediArmsDealer, thanks for coming in tonight and showing us all that awesome stuff like you always do.
Yeah, me love show and tell. Good times.
Oh, you know what? I won't leave you guys. Let's power up my lightsaber as we roll out of here.
Uh-oh.
This whole operation was your idea.
I've been having fun with these sound selections that you got for us.
Father's lightsaber.
Mine's still programmed that same way too. When we had the mirror systems.
Yeah.
I haven't changed it.
Because I'm still kind of exploring this. I really like. Let's try this one.
I shouldn't have done that. It's not the Jedi way.
Lately, I've been playing with the one that's right before this, which is the one where it's like Anakin Skywalker. It's Asajj Ventress's voice announcing him, and then when you pull the trigger, so to speak, when you push the ignition, it's like delayed. I've been playing with that for like a week, and now I'm on to the next one, which is the episode 3 version, which I like the way it retracts really fast. I like the sound of the ignition. I forget who made this font. Maybe it's Kaseth. You might remember. But this is the episode 3 version. I think the one that I was speaking about playing with the episode 2 version is the one you made, which is like our ultimate Anakin thing, I think. So this is the one right after that, episode 3. I like the way it sounds. I like the way it looks with the blue and stuff. And it just goes with this hilt so much because this is supposed to be Anakin's hilt. So I just been playing with the Anakin fonts a lot lately. And this is one I've been having a lot of fun with. So
that's the one that came with the light side Anakin and dark side Anakin, and we made them both blue blades because it was all about Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
That was that one. But I don't remember if it was Kaseth.
And I think it's this one that has like the effect I like is, yes, it's the red. So when I'm playing with the blaster, let me make my screen bigger and see if I could show you guys here. When I'm doing the blaster, it's pretty cool because it's like you got the blaster white light. But as you can tell, when I'm holding my slide switch down for a split second longer than a blaster hit, you get this like red flash since it's almost going into lockup. So I use that as like a blast when I'm playing with it. I'm like blaster, and then like a more powerful blaster, as if I'm like deflecting like a crossbow thing or something from a an ATST or something. So it's like that's the bigger one, like boom, and then you got your so that's kind of how I've been playing with this lately.
And because those all use a post lock sound, it sounds like a blaster because when you're coming out of post lock, it has that sample.
Okay, so
wow,
that's the
genius.
reason why.
Yeah.
So I've been having fun. I'm kind of in the mirror, kind of going, and I do like small blaster, like big one, and it's kind of fun, to play with that.
Genius.
That's especially with the red, with the ones that have the epic flash. Like you had set up one where it's like a green flash, and that looks cool, Yeah,
it's almost like you have multi blasters the way you're using it. That's super cool. I would have never thought to do that. Well done.
That would sound good on your stereo system as well. You know, you
I'm
like
actually
pair it to the Bluetooth or something.
I'm building another Bluetooth saber right now, slowly.
That's going to
this
be powered by CF or powered by Profi.
CF. Yep.
Very
This might be
nice.
the one. This might be the one you're wielding when you come here and we
Ooh,
do
there we go.
the mountain video. But what I'm hoping is the RF will come out here, and I'm
Well,
going to
what's the
mill
plastic bit on the bottom? Is that where you plan to have the chip mounted? Like it
No,
looks to me like
this is
that's
just a belt clip.
Oh,
Just
gotcha.
a belt clip. Yeah. But I'm going to mill bigger holes, and then the Bluetooth card's going to be in here along with the CFX.
That's
so I'm
cool.
hoping the RF will come out because I'm going to mill 3 of these. So I'm hoping the RF will come out all the way around because it's high in the hilt, right?
Gotcha.
So you're going to grip it here, but yet the RF can still come out the hole.
You know what? One day I'll have the RF line running up to bunny ears on a saber. That would be perfect, wouldn't it? As the antenna, yeah. Just make run it right up and up bunny ears.
Yeah, antennas are tough because they have to have a certain amount of resistance. Like they can only be a certain length for that resistance depending on what transmitting frequency they are. So they're kind of weird to do. To make your own antenna is weird.
I kind of like the way the RC cars did it back in the day. They seem very durable. I could imagine it coming out of the bottom of a saber for about 3 inches, where it's like the wire, but it's encased in like a straw.
Right.
You know, so rather than a wire flopping around, it's like a clear straw that makes it more stiff, makes it a little more forgettable, a little more like it's a fishing line. You know, like you can kind of maybe disregard it. I might try that at some point, but before I do all that, I'm going to make a saber that just flat out connects with a 3.5 millimeter with a wire, so that I could just like purely listen through my stereo while I'm standing there with the wire connected, and then I'll move on to like the Bluetooth thing, I think, after that.
It is awesome to be able to hear it in that massive amount of definition and like surround sound.
And then it's more like the movie, yeah, because I think you want to feel that in your heart, like you want to feel the bass. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
When that saber kicks on, if it'll feel like the movie if it's that loud, but if it's just that coming out of your speaker sound, it can only be so good. It's like, yeah, it's I feel like I'm wielding a saber, but if it's like in the room, it's like, all right, now I feel like Darth Vader.
Yep. My favorite still is to put on like badass Bluetooth headphones and just you get lost.
Yeah.
It's right here, like in your head.
That's incredible. We got to build that into like a in-world helmet system that
it's a good idea.
It's like you're completely in costume.
Yeah, that's a great idea. See you, Jim.
Thanks for doing this this show with me tonight, David. That was so much fun. Rich Sangilla says, "Have a great week, fellas. You have a great week as well."
See you, Rich.
Have a great saber time with all your projects. Enjoy your sabers. Saber the moment.
Thanks, man.
And let's see if anyone is. Felicia says good night. Graflex dreams for Harris as always. Oh yes. Graflex dreams for all my friends. Very good. All right. Well, we'll step out of here for a couple days. I will have some videos coming out. I will have some TriStar videos coming out on Civilized Sabers channel. I think right before that, we'll have some lamp saver video. I have 2 lamp sabers, which are short blades. Those I'll be displaying on a Civilized Sabers video, plus a couple TriStars that I'm sending out. And I think that might be it for videos this week, unless I can get Armando's saber done and record a video, but I'm not sure that's going to come out this week. So look for those blade videos on Civilized Sabers channel, and then come back here 1 week from today. We will be back online doing another saber talk. And in between now and then, enjoy your time with your lightsabers, and we'll roll out of here.
Cool. You got to put the lava lamp effect from FET 263s in the lamp sabers. You seen those? He's got a lava lamp blade effect. You got to put that in there.
I'll try that, but in the video, I'm going to try to run. Like, I don't know if I have 2 Profi sabers. I have 1 Profi saber for sure. I'll have to hold like my Graflex and my Luke, one Profi, one CF to kind of display the blades at the same time. Because what I wanted to do, I was trying to figure out, or I was trying to finish them before I sent out the staff and put them in the staff. But I ended up sending out the staff before these were done.
Oh, right. That'd be cool because
yeah,
it's short.
Because they were exactly the same settings and everything on both sides, and it would have just been even. But we'll get a demo done somehow.
Cool, man. Looking forward to it.
All right. Well, have a great night. Thanks again.
Yeah,
Talk to you
absolutely.
again soon.
See you next Monday.
Cool.
All right, man. Good night,
Later on.
everybody. Later.